debating if I should take it. It's barely anything. Yeah. And we are
Yeah,
back.
once again, thank you guys for returning to listen to our misadventures, while we navigate our young adult lives. Um,
Misadventures, disadventures. It's very good.
that's a very miss and dis. You like to say that a lot. Misinformation, disinformation.
Yeah, I'm an expert at spreading it. I like to put doubt into the institutions we trust. It's one of my favorite activities.
Okay.
Do you know how fun
Regardless,
it is? Like,
my name is Nocam.
my name is Osmodius Kyouma.
I'm GymBagBob.
That's crazy. We've never had you on as a guest before, have we?
No, this is
Damn.
my first time.
Welcome,
Fuck yeah. What are your
GymBagBob.
thoughts?
What are your thoughts on Chick-fil-A?
I've ate there once. The food was
Would you
okay.
see yourself as a homophobe, considering that they are a very homophobic company that worships Christianity heavily?
Not because I've ate at
Oh,
Chick-fil-A
but because
once,
of
but
other reasons, you're a homophobe.
because I shop at Hobby Lobby.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
All right. So what was this like onset of homophobia? Like you have you have a fear of homosexuals, or you just like hate them with a
I
passion?
Yeah, she just hates them. She hates herself. So, well, shit. Like, if you support bad people or bad places, then fuck, what does that make me? I like like a couple dozen of Kanye songs. Am I a Nazi now?
No, I was just
Um,
like asking if this one company that she interacts with, supports this and that, if she shares the same values. It wasn't like because you work or because you go here, you believe this. It was more like a question.
I don't know. I feel like some people like, well, maybe people who are just intellectually
challenged.
lobotomized. They think that like if you, I need to start using the word lobotomized more. It's like it's one of my favorite words.
I laughed because that made no sense as a sentence, but yeah, you should use lobotomize
Well,
more.
it kind of makes sense. You're intellectually lobotomized. It means your fucking brain has had a
Yeah,
pick jammed through
you're
it and gone.
intellectually lobotomized, so in your intellect got lobotomized.
Yeah, so you understand it, so it makes
So you
sense. Okay,
remove the
you're
frontal
making me.
lobe of your intelligence.
You ever dissect a frog?
Shut up. That's mine. That's my thing.
Um, I don't even know where I was fucking going. Jesus fucking Christ! I think the meth is really fucking with
Jesus
my brain.
Christ.
Can't
Kids,
form
don't do
cohesive
math.
sentences anymore. Um, no. Okay, I remember. No, I just like see people on the Tiki Tac Toe, or I mean, some people in real life as well that have like a very. If you support anyone or any company that does like something bad or whatever, you fully endorse or like are okay with the practices that a company has or what a person says,
Yeah.
which is just ridiculous. I mean, that's just no. One, you don't speak for me about what I believe. Two, it would be so fucking. It's impossible. Everyone is flawed. Everyone, you'll probably agree with some things that people say, and other things you'll find them to be fucking stupid. Just because you happen to enjoy like a certain artist's music or particular song or the goods that a store sells doesn't mean you agree with the politics or the
No,
opinions,
I mean, I was just asking her
the
specifically, though.
convenience.
Like, I wasn't really trying to make some sort of argument of like, oh, because, she shops at Chick-fil-A, she, like, uh, tries to choke
She hates
slam
gay people.
every homosexual that crosses her path. I was just asking, like, what her belief system was. And she answered with, like, she's not a homophobe because of going to Chick-fil-A. She's a homophobe for going to Hobby Lobby. And I was trying to expand on that more, but I feel like you're just, like, trying to dissect my topic a little too far.
You had to mention the word dissect, didn't you? Are you upset I stole your
I
thing?
am.
Okay, no, all right, Senator, I concede. You can have the floor.
Well,
Take
it's
it.
Molly's floor. She was gonna explain on why she's.
I said because I hate myself.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, there we go.
I heard that like 5 minutes ago, so that's why I kept on talking because I heard the answer, but it's whatever.
I mean, obviously, yeah. If you shop at a place, it doesn't necessarily mean you reflect, all of your values or whatever the fuck. Spoiler alert. That's the
No,
fucking the plot of The Good Place, because of capitalism or late stage capitalism, and everyone was contributing to taking advantage of poor countries and people in poor situations.
thank God we don't do that.
Yeah, but you do every day, every time you buy something. That's why something is so cheap. But we're gonna change that with tariffs, guys. Speaking of which,
Yeah, yeah. You know, I don't know. I obviously I like things to be cheap. Um, that's cool. That's nice.
no, I
Um,
like when stuff is more
uh,
expensive. It's more of a
Gotta be
challenge.
cheaper though.
yeah, yeah. Hard times create hard men.
All right,
Well, that's the meme. Or hard times create strong
I
men.
was gonna say.
If, let me change the wording on that real quick. Um, I like the idea of American made. I mean, for the most part, I think, we have higher quality control standards for most things. It's not a universal law that just because it's made in America, it's better. And that's just not the case at all. But, I also like the idea of more Americans getting job. Like, imagine if all Apple or the majority of Apple phones, iPhones, that's what they're called, iPhones, were made in America. Or that'd be kind of cool. Like, oh yeah, this is an American phone company. Woo.
I don't think it would change my view on anything. Like I would not give a fuck.
See, you have no patriotism. I have some. It's there. I think we are the best country. We definitely could be the best country. I mean, I still think we're pretty much better than like most of them. But I don't know. Sometimes it just feels good to be number one. Like you're just better than everyone. I think strong um, manufacturing is it's a good bragging point, I guess. I don't fucking know.
I guess. I mean, we have the ideas. Other people make our shit. But I mean, I guess
Yeah,
it's more
but
patriotic if we have the ideas and make our own shit at the same time. Which I mean,
yeah,
I feel
if
like
it's
I would feel more proud of like I don't know, no matter what, I feel like eventually someone's gonna get taken advantage of. It's either like ourselves or it's like someone in like a
yeah.
shittier country that like doesn't like their government literally doesn't give a fuck about like workers' rights.
Well, yeah, it's either, you get whatever worker conditions that people in Vietnam, Cambodia, Bangladesh, China, sorry, internet cut out, or desktop went to black. Yeah, it's either you like deal with whatever conditions or you support in a way, normalize shitty working conditions in other countries, or you're going to get kind of the same thing in America. Maybe it's a bit more difficult to get away with it. Maybe. I mean, yeah, companies aren't too great here either. Like the amount of times that like workers have went on strike,
How many times have
fairly
like workers
reasonable.
been on strike and no one gave a fuck and or like just nothing would happen? Like they literally like,
Yeah,
voice their opinion and like this is what we want to change. This is
yeah,
why we want to change it and then they're just like, okay, go back to work or
no,
you're fired.
yeah. We're just gonna wait you guys out. Yeah, there's a couple of different like strikes that I can think off the top of my head, like the what was it, 2023, the SAG, the Writers Guild shit. Pretty much just wanting like protections against AI and probably some like form of increased pay. Something, it's not. I'm biased. I'm not a CEO. I'm not an executive. But I don't think it was anything like too unreasonable. Same with like the dock workers that threatened to go on strike not too long ago. they just want protections against automation, even though, it'd be more efficient if it was automated. But they just want protections to make sure that they can still like have a job in the career that they've done and make good money.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe we need domestic production, but there needs to be certain laws that make unionizing a lot more easy, and that just won't happen. That's just not
Well,
gonna
I mean, the more we pay and give benefits and allow unions to exist, the more expensive stuff is going to be, because they still want to, the 1% still want to be at the 1%.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's also, an argument against tariffs. I mean, yeah. I mean, in my specific examples, I can think of like work boots or tools, like hand tools made in America. They're just a lot more expensive because they have to pay their workers more in general. You got benefits, you have union dues, all that shit. So yeah, it's would you rather pay more, have less money, or just put it out of your mind that like you're kind of supporting shitty labor practices, some person slaving away to make the products you enjoy. What about you, Molly? What would you choose? Would you rather things be more expensive but like live quote unquote guilt free, or have things be cheaper and just kind of just not really think about it, which is better?
Like morally, I'd rather do the made in America, I guess. If it's like knowing that it's like slave labor or like shit like that. But I'm not made of money. I can't just
Yeah. What if all of your
yeah.
skeins of yarn, they transferred production to America and they started to cost like $30?
I would not crochet
Right.
anymore.
Well, I mean,
I like would not be able to
it's
afford it.
easier to have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you would be able to afford it because the economy would adjust, and you could also like sell your fucking uh stuffed animals at a higher price. But like, it's really easy to separate, morality from something. If it's like a country away, like it's literally like a person like you or me, or even like younger, that are
Oh,
being
definitely
like
younger.
fucking
Yeah.
taken advantage of. They're living a shitty life. Here I am, living, in my 20s, having arguably like an interesting time going here and there, but like,
You were in a metal dragon today. All right. How many other people
the,
can say that? In their entire lives, they will never fucking.
they won't leave the factory that they live in,
Yeah.
that they reside,
Yeah.
they work to the bone. They
This is
get
the plight.
underpaid. They don't get the like. There's no like dream or like, okay, like once I get this much money, eventually I'll get to this point. I can do this.
Yeah, this is the plight of us Westerners. All right. We have it so bad. We have to.
Yeah, we have to like wonder, should we take advantage of people or not?
Hmm. I like that. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's where my patriotism
It's
comes
a
from.
choice.
So my
It's a
superiority
tough choice.
complex.
Yeah. As a country, that's kind of what is kind of the best for your people is to take advantage of deals where you see them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess to like the whole thing that we got started on this conversation about the tariffs. I know what I've heard is like the reasoning why they're being implemented when it comes to China is because they haven't really cracked down on the fentanyl being produced and then shipped over to us from their end. So they just get a 10% tariff on everything, which, you know, impacts quite a bit of things. There's a lot of shit that's made in China. Um, and then Canada and Mexico get 25% tariff on everything. Mexico, because they're not really doing anything, according to the White House, to curtail the immigration problem. They're not playing ball. And Canada, I don't fucking know why. I'm sure there's some reason. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. Um, so I don't know. I think I'd imagine like the best, the most affordable, highest quality product will win in the very end. So if there's, I don't know, whatever's cheapest will probably win as long as it's quality. And assumably that product will be made in America because it doesn't have to, pay a tariff. It's just existing.
Yeah.
So I don't
I
know.
just think it's interesting, because Canada, though, if you obviously it isn't moral, like it's not because of morals. That's why he's like changing it. It's because America first. We want everything to be made from home. You know,
We want more money. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much essentially it. We just want more money for
Money.
ourselves. Well,
Yeah.
they want more money for
Money.
themselves, and Canada, their working class is probably pretty similar to ours, and they still have like a steep tariff. What's interesting
Yeah.
is their Canada wants to retaliate, and a big part of that would be cutting off U.S. access to critical Canadian resources, including electricity, lumber, critical minerals, oil, and gas, until tariffs are lifted. I'm
Yeah.
reading this from CanadianLabor.ca.
I think I think an invasion of Canada would be pretty appropriate.
I don't, I don't see any advantage in that. I think that's insane.
Well, I mean, morally no, but I
I
think
think
like
because
if
you
we could
said that you
just
should sign up, you should
okay, you're
enlist.
right. I'll put my money because
You put your money, yeah,
um, if we just like absorbed them, though, there'd be a good amount of like resources to just like naturalize into our own country. Yeah.
which is the oil.
Okay, so here's the reason why. Yeah, fentanyl from China, undocumented immigration from Mexico, and the trade deficit with Canada. Okay. Tariffs don't cause inflation, they cause success, cause big success. So we're going to have great success. There could be some temporary short term disruption, and people understand that. No, people won't understand.
No, people will be pissed about it.
I mean, I'd say rightfully so, but hard times create strong men.
It's so stupid. Do we even know what like
I mean, is
what's
it
the point
is
of
it wrong?
creating strong men, right? It's to resist
Because
against
strong
like
men create
the people who
strong men
created the
create
hard
good times.
times.
No, strong men create the
So I
good
swear to
times,
God,
but
if
the good
any like
times.
politician starts saying that shit, like they're the reason they're causing the hard times. The strong men are created to be resistant to them.
Yeah, but then strong men create weak time or create good times, and good times lead to weak men.
We've never had a good time in America since like ever.
Okay, that's just crazy to say.
I mean,
Um,
okay, well, like name one time where it was like a good time for everyone. Everyone is having a blast.
I liked 2016.
2016, that was after the fucking what the market housing market crash and all that bullshit.
Yeah, that was in 2008, so that was 8 years after the fact.
Yeah, so 8
So,
years
that's
after the
fine. That's
fact,
fine.
what Donald Trump going into presidency, that's what.
Well, how about like April 2016? You know,
What was April 2016?
I don't know exactly what was it.
I feel like I was too
You don't
young
know?
to like understand like was it a good time? So I feel like I mean,
Yeah.
okay, maybe the gas prices were a little better compared to now. We had gay marriage. Um
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of
Um.
like all groups of people, like in general. I mean, it's a while after.
I mean, okay. For as far as like our adult lives, I don't know when the fuck would that even have began. Probably. And fuck, I guess my adult life began. Um. sometime in 2020. That's probably the answer I'd go with, which
Mine probably happened around the same time.
yeah. I'd say it's been an interesting start, you know. It's so millennial to say like I'm tired of living through historical events. I'm not like tired of it. I think it's pretty exciting, but it also kind of sucks
I
depending.
could take a break from it.
Well, like
Shit happens every
I don't
year.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just because, I mean, okay. Well, just because we went through a global pandemic, all right. You know, has there been anything akin to that recently? I mean, I guess the
I think the
Russo-Ukrainian
last
war
time,
had
like,
like a bigger spark.
motherfucker, I was just gonna say that, like, the phrase that, like, nothing ever happens. I was trying to think the last time that got proven
Yeah.
wrong was fucking February 2022. Um, yeah. I mean, 2023, what the fuck even happened? That year doesn't exist. 2024, um, you know,
What happened in 2022? Because I
what
was like not there for that entire
oh,
year.
shit, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, again, I don't really remember much. I mean, I moved out. I moved into this apartment.
Because like I remember
Um,
where I like seen comment sections like, "Oh, summer of 2022, man, that was like the best summer ever." And I'm like, well, I mean, I was in
no.
basic at that time, so like I couldn't like like I wouldn't
No,
know.
21
We
was
were
better.
still like regurgitating old ass memes in the base.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, yeah, as an adult life, I don't know if anyone's ever really had it like fucking easy or boring. Like the closest I could think would probably be like the 90s, mid to late 90s. I mean, what was really happening? I mean, the fact that the president uh was getting blown in the office.
so what
That was probably like the biggest piece of
we
American
didn't have
media.
gay
I mean, I
marriage
don't know.
yet. It was fresh out of segregation still.
The 90s?
Yeah, I mean it was just like a couple of years after, probably like 20 years.
What? Okay. Um if we're talking mid to late 90s, that would have been like 30 years. So, I
Yeah.
mean, still within someone's lifetime, yeah. But I mean, it's still within someone's lifetime. So, I just don't like, the negative attitude of, well, the world has never been good. I mean,
I
yeah, for
mean
a
I'm
lot of
just
people it
saying
has.
like
Life's good for me,
I mean that's good for
for
you.
the
I'm
most
just
part.
like I'm not saying like life shit. You know, this is we're living in dark times, my friends. I'm just saying that like we've never had like the perfect time or like I like a
It'll never,
like
yeah.
yeah, it'll never happen.
It'll never be perfect.
Well,
It'll never be like great or like whatever the fuck
I
this
think,
great that people keep trying to like conjure up.
all right, hear me out. Me, President, Jason, Vice President, Molly.
I'm the first lady.
Well, all right, yeah, you could be the first lady,
Yeah,
but like, I'm
Michelle
trying to give you
Obama
a
first
position.
lady, you know, someone who actually does
What the fuck
something.
did she do? Fuck Michelle Obama.
Well, she actually did
Did
something,
nothing.
you know.
She did nothing. She tried and made it worse and didn't do anything. She can go fuck
She
herself.
fixed school lunches by getting rid of
She
churros.
did.
She did something which
You might not be
changed.
happy about it,
She
but
did something which changed nothing. So she did nothing.
what did it not change?
Childhood obesity. It didn't fix it at all. I mean,
At least she
maybe.
tried.
Okay, that doesn't mean shit. You're a politician. Don't try.
But she's not a politician, but she still tried.
She was the first lady. She was the first lady. You're in the political realm. If you're able to make policy decisions that affect some kid in buttfuck Nebraska that you've never met, you're a politician. All right.
I liked when she guest starred on Nickelodeon shows.
I like all the conspiracy theories of how she was a guy and they kept like trying to like zoom in like at her crotch and like see there's a penis right there.
What the fuck? Was your dad
He
like
was
telling you this
actually.
shit?
He
I've never.
was just
Oh, I've never heard that. That's pretty good. All right. I think some conspiracy theories are really funny. Like they're pretty fucking loony and funny. Do you think those people back in like 2009 were saying something's not right, guys?
Yes.
I see a bulge on my shelf.
Why does it even matter to begin with? Like, why would that be like someone's like, you know, the spear of their concern?
Because they're lying to you about that, so what else aren't they telling you about?
She's had kids.
Proof? Did you see the sex tape? it's, it's like so easy to just discredit. Like, if you don't want to believe something, you will find every fucking way to make it so you don't believe it. I'm a great experiment of that. Like, I've been asking for proof of anything anyone says lately, or just like discounting it because I don't see it, or I haven't seen the statistics, the sources, the data, whatever the fuck. And I'm kind of being facetious when I do it, but like if I actually didn't do this ironically most of the time, um, you could just be so immune to accepting anyone else's beliefs and just be so fucking. It's crazy. It's kind of interesting.
I mean, confirmation bias is an interesting concept.
I mean, yeah, I think it's simply what it is. I just fucking described. Okay.
That was
Oh,
like a big one. I don't know why. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how
I don't know.
that concept, like, what, like, I guess
I
it's a
think it's
bad
low
thing. I
IQ.
mean, also
It's just
it
dumb.
was interesting because like it was also around that time where like um gay marriage was still a new thing. So my dad was under the belief of like, well, I mean, if we're gonna let like dudes or women, marry each other, we might as well just start having like, being or letting people just start marrying dogs.
Yeah,
Because that makes so
Well, I
much
mean, it's the same thing,
sense.
right?
I don't know. I don't think the same. I don't fucking care. If it makes you happy, well, okay. When it comes to humans,
Yeah.
and they're not a child, yeah,
Two consenting adults.
yeah, I don't care. It Okay, so let me be a bit personal here. I'm sure I said some like pretty homophobic shit as a kid, or like just made fun of gay people, ew,
Yeah.
disgusting.
I mean, it was like
I'm gonna
we were in that
blame
generation,
my
right?
environment. Yeah, I'm gonna blame that on my parents, and like I'm a kid, so I don't have any creative thoughts of my own. So I'm off the hook.
Yeah.
Um, but like now, as a person with independent thought, I don't fucking care. I don't give a fuck. I It doesn't bother. I don't see how it could be an issue. It just feels so like the argument feels like it has to be rooted in religious
I
beliefs.
think half, yeah.
At least to me.
I mean, m- my family wasn't that religious though. I mean, besides going to like a super religious school in my
Yeah,
childhood, and that's kind of what the root was when I was a kid. What got me to like start saying, gay as in stupid. That's gay, bro. So gay.
yeah. Dude, I said that at McDonald's. There was a fucking gay person. He's like, that actually hurt my
All
feelings.
right. All right. Well, I
There was.
mean,
I should have like bullied him more because no one fucking liked that kid. But
like I get it. It's
like,
probably like not the like best thing to say. Like you know what the guy
yeah,
meant. Like if someone said like,
yeah, they're strawmanning you. And yeah, he was strawmanning me. He was assuming that I hate gay
yeah,
people,
that's what it was.
which is not the case. Yeah, dude, I should have fucking hot hand fallacy that motherfucker. Uh,
Maybe you should
hot
watch
hand
your vocabulary.
hot hand fallacy is in I'm doing this new thing where I just say it's a fallacy and then make up what kind of fallacy it is because it's
Yeah.
funny to me. For context, I'm not talking about jerking off gay people.
All right. Well,
Don't think anyone thought you were.
I feel like that's what. Or you guys are just making me feel embarrassed now. That's where my mind went when I said, you know what?
what? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. My mind works in very creative ways. I don't think either of you two understand like how my brain jumps to conclusions or like connects the dots.
I mean, mine tends to like jump around and connects
Yeah,
the
I'd say you're pretty
dots like
linear.
pretty quickly, but I also try to like make a coherent response before like saying something. And then I mean, sometimes I
Yeah, I'm a
confuse people,
motherfucker.
but that I just like didn't understand like where you pulled
Yeah,
whatever what that was.
I can give you a good example of the difference between you and I. I think that sums up the differences between the two of us pretty aptly. Um, okay, so you do admit it.
No, I
All right, you're
don't.
fucking terrible. I'm gonna fucking recreate a Whiplash clip of that. So you do admit it. You do watch Taylor Swift. I mean, my fucking fuck. What's the name of that like your masterpiece? It's like I think it's a French word. Um,
Your masterpiece.
fuck. That's weird. Yeah, it's opus magnum opus. Yeah, magnum opus. That's not French, but
Latin, probably.
yeah. See, this is where this non-linear thinking comes into play. It's very scatterbrained. Anyway, what was our
So you think
topic
mine is
before I
linear and
ended
yours
up?
is non-linear?
Well, if those are our only two options and we're the only two people in this question, yeah, I'm gonna say you're probably more linear in how you think than me, so that'd make me non-linear. We can ask an unbiased person, Molly.
But
Okay, what do you have?
So
I just don't want to talk about this.
so what represents the sigma and what represents the epsilon?
Were you speaking English?
It's the Greek alphabet. It's the two sides of that graph. The epsilon is on the right side, and then the left side is the sigma symbol.
I have no idea. I just typed
So
in
what does that
linear.
represent? Like non-linear, like one is a straight line in between those two variables, and then the other is a curved between those two variables. What do those variables represent?
I'm assuming the curved would mean a roundabout way of like not staying on topic in this.
Well, like what are the
I feel like
That's like saying remember when
are you
D fell for that fucking scam where like, oh, you need to buy these berries, because they're grown in this specific place, and then like gives Charlie a test
yeah,
of like
yeah, I remember.
oh
How many
yeah, how many
stress
like
units do you have?
yeah, how many stress units? What are the units?
Units of stress.
So
Okay,
are those
what?
like variables for like different thought processes?
I think you're just trying to. You're reading too much into the overall point I was making. I think I don't know. I guess I'm being kind of vague with the point I was making. I mean, it's hard to give like pinpoint examples of how I think you think more linear than I do. Um, I don't know.
What would linear mean to you? Would that mean like an average mindset, and yours would
Um,
be like
no, it's not like a superiority thing when I say it. Like I'm not trying to be condescending or my brain just outthinks you. Um, what I meant when I was saying it more left to again, I'm just going to be using vague terminology. I don't know how to give specific examples with how I'm thinking about this, but like your brain is more left to right, follow sequentially the um, train of thought. I guess more stereotypically, like,
Like point A to point B.
yeah, I don't know practical examples of that type of thinking off the top of my head. And I don't know examples of like point A to point G thinking either. You know, like sometimes when people just say like vibes and they can't fucking elaborate on what they mean. It's kind of sad. You give off linear vibes, you know. At least to me. Um, I mean, not always. You know, it's not a fucking constant. But does that make sense? No. Okay. Cool.
Interesting.
What? Okay, so I don't. I'm not just making this shit up. All right. You know, a linear mind is a way to describe a certain type of thinking that follows a logical step-by-step process similar to a line.
All right, you're reading the AI overview. Go try and find like an
Yes,
actual,
I
because I already tried looking it up. I'm trying to find a quiz actually right now. Convergent or divergent
maybe.
thinker?
Ooh, I'm a fuck. What was the from the Divergent movies? What was the fucking police force? I don't fucking remember. I've never seen this. You're not missing out on the movies. They were kind of ass. The first book was okay. I still think Hunger Games is better though. Yeah.
I don't think you're alone in that thought process.
You guys ready to start the Hunger Games revolution with our cute winter boots?
What?
You haven't gotten on cute winter boots yet?
What, Uggs? Is that what I'm supposed to get?
No, cute winter boots. It's code word.
I have no idea what you're talking
Oh,
about.
that's good. So I'm really only on fucking Schizo Talk.
Secretly criticize Trump.
Okay, so we clicked on the same fucking article.
Well, I didn't
Okay.
click on it. I just read that part of the CBC article.
Okay, users on TikTok have been posting about cute winter boots, and reality videos are about U.S. President Donald Trump and his crackdown on migrants. On migrants, okay. Disguising the content as fashion videos is a form of something called algo speak. You're saying one thing but meaning it. You're speaking in code. All right, quit trying to fucking sound more fancy than you are. I don't know. It's like videos talking about like school teachers talking about how they're gonna stop ICE enforcement or ICE agents. It's just like I don't fucking know. It's good. I'm on the schizo side of things.
Does that fit?
I think it's interesting. I don't know if it thinks that like I'm ready or willing to engage with it, or if like these are the people I'm looking for, or if it's more of like a you'll find this funny. Either the algorithm knows me that well, where it thinks that it knows like
What makes you laugh?
yeah, like really what my type of humor is, or what I think is probably more likely is it thinks that I'm schizophrenic or conspiratorial.
Do any of the people you're like friends with on TikTok repost those types of videos?
Not those videos, no. I don't see any reposts by them.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say that could be why.
I mean, I see some every now and then, like some reposts on political-esque videos, but they're not like that kind. It's more quote unquote serious, less schizo.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back a couple topics here. The non-linear thinking is less constrictive, letting the creative side of you run rampant because of its inherent lack of structure. It's like letting a puppy run wild on a walk up a mountain. Anything of interest will be thoroughly investigated and perhaps peed on before jumping to the next, possibly non-related subject. This sounds like you just have like ADHD or something.
Maybe I do. I'm not. Alright, that was cringe to say. I'm not gonna try and self-diagnose.
Nonlinear thought increases possible outcomes by not being so certain about by the starting point for any logic process. Nonlinear thinkers tend to jump forward and from side to side through the steps of a project in an effort to see the big picture and tackle those areas where they have the most interest.
Yeah, it sounds pretty. I don't know. Sounds pretty reasonable or accurate to me.
I don't know. I don't know which one I am. I wouldn't like that's interesting that you put me in the linear.
Between the two of us, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased in how I view. Well, obviously, I don't think bias is the right word, but just like how I see or like how I hear your thinking process. I don't fucking know how to describe it. Maybe I suck at giving like supplemental points to my overall argument.
Linear thinkers are very much the same. They start at step 1 and usually do a good and efficient job of completing the task before moving on to step 2. They're driven, focused, and don't easily get off topic. All right, this is from chuckslamp.com.
Accurate
And
information.
I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a blog or what, but this is just some guy talking about it. And this is one of the only few articles I can talk about this very specific kind of mindset. But maybe I do have a linear mindset. I don't know. I'm not trying to like debunk it and like, oh, come on, I'm more unique than that. I'm just trying to like figure out if that's like true. But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like because like I've seen. That's stupid.
You timed that well, maybe as but that was perfect.
Yeah.
As soon as I said that, you fucking
No.
killed it.
Now that like I've seen all like kind of like our work ethic, with how we work on projects, I've seen how
Yeah.
you tend to try to separate when we were doing the little blocks. You separate each Word document by blocks instead of just putting it all in one document and then just having it all together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that could be an example of something, or maybe that's a nothing burger. But
I mean, if we have to make it an example between the two, I'd say that's more linear, more organized, quote unquote. You're breaking it down into smaller pieces because it's easier to digest bit by bit.
I mean, I go in order, but I just don't break it down into smaller pieces. I just write it out into one document, and then just like try and make it a story that goes from one place to another. A linear story.
That's probably like, I mean, especially for people who actually write scripts professionally, I doubt they do it the way I fucking did it. I don't know. It just seemed I don't. Like, I wasn't thinking it out, like what would be the best way to format this.
Well, I'm not criticizing it. I was just saying that's a different way of thinking, so that's interesting. Because I did it maybe in the way most people do it, but like you did it in a different way, which was probably easier to swallow for you, which is probably a good thing on why we did like a visual board for our project. Because it kind of like helped both thinkers. If you're a visual learner, you have like a visual way of like, okay, this goes here and then this happens next. I like to think I'm more visual when it comes to things because I like my imagination is very vivid. But
yeah, well, I suck. If you try and like walk me through something slightly technical and you're just like describing it to me, I'd say there's like more than a 50% chance I'm just gonna fuck it up or not know what the fuck it is you're referring to. And that's unfortunate. I wish I was better in that regard.
I actually have a reference to that today. But that's going to go into that other topic of what I did today. But
Okay.
Is that all right? Am I not impeding?
No. Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So yeah, so I mean it was I went and did a discovery flight for a fixed wing. You know, amidst all the chaos, you know, what's happening, all these plane crashes, you know? And I had it. It was pretty good. You know, it felt like a beginning of a movie or something. You know, I watched my my instructor land the plane, and then she got off and then was like, are you this person? Oh, okay, you're one of my students. Awesome." And then yeah, she was just, I was drinking coffee because I like to drink coffee before I do like interesting shit. It like calms me down a little bit, and you know, it's just kind of like a vibe that I like. You know, she's like,
It's a routine.
she's like asking me like, you know, what's the why do you have coffee? You know, like I asked, is that a problem? And then she's like, well, you know, hopefully you don't have anything going on with your stomach on the plane.
Oh.
So I guess that's like a big thing because she kept like trying to bring up, because apparently on her first discovery flight, you know, she like ended up vomiting, and that's like a big thing apparently because, you know, you're in a single engine aircraft and you're in the front seat. It's a different feeling, you know.
I feel like that happened with any drink.
What was it?
Or
Even if you don't drink anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
that could happen no matter what. It's not just like, oh, coffee is gonna cause.
Well, I mean, coffee is a diuretic, so I kind of understand where she's coming from, you know.
What if you were drinking alcohol? What do you think she would have reacted like?
She probably she probably wasn't that cool. She probably would have been like, yeah, we're not doing this today. Fuck off.
Oh, come on. It's not even that much.
But like, I mean, which would be understandable, but yeah, apparently, yeah, she even like pulled up like a barf bag and everything. But I just thought it would be interesting if I got airsick, you know, especially like I feel like I've been in like worse situations where like I've been on an aircraft with more turbulence, knowing that I'm about to fucking exit it, you know, midair.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Different scenario. It's possible still. I mean, be weird if you had like a more violent reaction to that than, you know, the knowledge that you're going to be jumping out of a plane, but it's possible.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it was good. She was trying to do it like super calmly, like, okay, yeah, sorry, you know, I'm trying to get higher where there's less wind. But like every once in a while, you'd like, if you're on a small aircraft, you're gonna feel turbulence way more. So you know that feeling of your funny bone, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
Maybe.
what do you mean maybe? You know what that feeling is? You know that feeling that, you know, it feels kind of like funny, you know, in your stomach a little bit when you're like going down rapidly or something.
A funny feeling when it feels funny. I'm sure I do. It's just like, you know, it's hard to replicate. I'm trying to replicate the feeling.
You haven't had a lot of thrilling moments in your life then, if you can't immediately recall that.
Like the kind of like feeling in your gut, like when you're going up a fucking roller coaster and you're like, I'm sure I've had the same feeling you're talking. I'm 100%
going down a roller, like when you're actually like, when you hit a dip and you're like, you got that feeling in your stomach.
Oh yeah, like the G-forces, fucking. Yeah, I've had the feeling.
So it's called your fun. Okay, if you didn't know that, that's, you know, most people, you know, popular media references that as your funny bone. Obviously, it's not a funny bone. It's like
non-linear.
If anything, that would just represent you having a linear mindset. Because, like, oh, well, I don't have, like, the specific nomenclature to which feeling that was. You know, I can't put a metaphor over it. Sorry. I feel like at this point my audio is going to not be as good because my crisp decided to stop working because my garbage-ass card company does not want to send me my card. So...
I think we need to deny...
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah. No, we'll get to that. But anyway, yeah. So you flew a plane. So okay, I got some questions. Let me interview you on this. After like all the introductions and whatnot, I'm assuming that she did the takeoff and was talking to ATC during it, kind of just like having you witness or listen, watch, and learn type thing. Was she kind of just like walking you through what she was doing as she was like doing it, what she's checking, or was she just kind of just silent, letting you fucking draw your own conclusions?
Alright, I'm just gonna opt out of the interview right now because like I haven't even finished the story yet. But
Okay.
because I was pretty much gonna go into that. Shut up, okay? That's a lot coming from someone who like is a side character on this podcast. Alright. I'm sorry. If you want to speak more, get involved. Yeah, so eventually, we got up to we got up to a good altitude, and then she's kind of gave me control, and then told me to keep an eye on the altimeter. Don't go into the tan because that's the terrain. Very basic stuff. Tried it. It was interesting to keep the nose of the plane at a certain area in the horizon because it's when you're like actually flying it. It's interesting that like I'm sure the more I do it's gonna be easier, but like it's interesting to gauge. Try and like, okay, is this straight? Is this like?
Yeah. Were you flying into a headwind or was it?
I mean, every once in a while there'd be some shear wind or like some gusts, but like what do you mean by that? Because we're kind of like flying all over the place because she told me to take different headings, so I'd turn the plane and then turn the rudder accordingly.
Okay, so you're getting a mix of everything: headwind, tailwind, fucking side to side. Okay.
I mean, I guess, but like the type of plane that it was low on the fuselage. The wing was low on the fuselage, so it's easier to control. And she says she prefers those kinds of planes over, ones that are higher, because the ones that are higher on the fuselage, they're harder to control. So.
Yeah. Do you remember what exact, what's the make and model of the plane? I want to look at some photos of it.
I mean, I sent the...
I know you sent the manual, but I don't think
it's the Cherokee Warrior. It's the 4... I feel like it's the 4BM.
Okay. That looks... I mean, I'm not sure if this is exactly what it was, but yeah, it looks like it was interesting. Okay, well, I'm sure you don't want me to interview you, but how was it? Like, once you had access to the controls, what'd that feel like?
It was good. Right? Like, it kind of like took me back a little bit, when I was younger and when I did it for the first time, when I was in a single engine plane for the first time, and the pilot just said to like move the yoke every now and then. But like, to reference Star Wars Battlefront 2 from the PS2, it was just like the simulations, except the yoke felt like the yoke and the rudders felt a little more rough than it does, obviously, compared to like a computer simulation. But
how long were you up in the sky for? Like 30 minutes?
It was like 30 to 40 minutes, probably.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't land.
Yeah.
I remember like every like a couple of minutes, you know, she would ask like, "You good? You doing all right?" Because like I was just kind of like, you know, enjoying myself, looking around. And she was like kind of concerned in the beginning, like, "Why are you so jittery?" Like
Why the fuck do you?
half of it was probably the coffee, and the other half is like, I don't know what the fuck she's like gonna like ask me to do up there, like.
Yeah.
If it's just like moving
Yeah.
shit around, like the yoke or the rudders, that's fine. But if it's like anything else beyond that, then like I don't know. Like I don't remember that much.
I don't know. It's not that crazy. Like, if I were in your situation, like I don't think I'd be freaking the fuck out, but like, you know, my eyes would be wide open. I'd be kind of just, you know, taking in the fact that I'm in a fucking plane. The view is pretty immaculate up here. I don't feel like it's that crazy to just like kind of be. I mean, I guess everyone's fucking different. Some people are probably way more outspoken. Oh my god. But I also think I don't know. It's good that she was asking you at least, making sure that you're not gonna like freak the fuck
Or
out.
like puke or something. Yeah, she also she had the window open for me as well. So like, okay, if you're feeling like shit at all, just like stick your hand out the window. It helps me, or it helps, believe me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is.
I mean,
it is
that's
good. I wasn't like, I don't even think I was like that like stressed out, but like it was just a lot of it is that I don't know. I like to look around at my surroundings a lot. All right, and I think she was like taking that as like me freaking out.
That's
A little bit was maybe adrenaline, not really, but like
yeah.
I don't know. Here, 1 second.
I mean, it's not a tiny amount of adrenaline because I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, was she aware of like you kind of mentioned it before you got on like up in the sky what you did, you know how you jump out of planes for a living?
Yeah, I mean, I told her like my first experience with that, and then jumping out of planes or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So,
It's still a different thing, a little
yeah.
bit.
Well, I mean, at that point, I feel like the view is still like great. You know, it never gets old, but like it was also kind of just. I also don't want to be that guy where like, oh well, like you know, I handled it perfectly. You know, like oh, it's just in my blood, but like it just kind of like felt natural at some point where like she's like, okay, take a heading of like, you know, this number here or like 090, and then I'll just turn right, move the right rudder, or move the rudder to the right, and then just fucking go and then flatten out. Some of it would be a little rough, but I mean at the same time it just like felt okay. Yeah, this was. You know, this is what I'm supposed to be doing today. This feels good.
Yeah. In your limited experience, what seems like the most difficult thing about what, like the actual act of flying and reading all the the instrument clusters and doing all that, does that seem complicated or more so just like the amount of studying and material, just the shit you need to research, the things you need to know about like airspace?
So I think the hardest thing for me today was probably just trying to like keep everything level in accordance to like the air and trying to keep it.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not like facing down at all or facing too high up, trying to gain too much speed. But
yeah.
I think in general, the hardest part for me might be like, you know, trying to learn like radio speak, you know.
Talking to ATC? Yeah, well, that's where I come in.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be like, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be easier than I think, but like.
I think it will be. Like, once. It's really just like terminology and vernacular. Once you understand it, I don't know. This is just me. I mean, the talking is going to be the easy part, I'd feel. Like, once you're at least, like, confident in your own skills, you kind of have an idea of, like, what you're doing as far as the plane side of it goes.
Yeah.
then you're just relaying or getting clearance or confirmation that you can do X action or fucking. This is. I suppose I don't fucking know. I'm glad you enjoyed it though, right? That's the main goal here. You had fun with this.
Of course, yeah. I was
When are you going back to it?
maybe pretty much as soon as I get my taxes back, I'm gonna try and reach out again. She said whenever. I mean, I already have her number specifically, so like whenever. Shut up.
Yeah.
Whenever I can just like, hey, I want to do another class. You know, are you available this day? And then she's going to send me like some videos to watch and some information.
Yeah.
I already had somebody else call me the other day. I'm still waiting on, because they said they're going to send me some stuff too to do some research. But pretty much, I want to pretty much like read up and do as much as I can before I get into the plane again, just so like I can actually know what's going on more. I mean, I already kind of like I literally like was reading through the manual of that plane model before I went into it, and then I was still kind of like, this is interesting. But the most interesting part for me was you know how like, you know, the yoke, you know, you see like in most movies or something, you know, you hold both sides of it, right?
Was it just like a single stick?
No, so it was exactly this cockpit here. Except so I was on the left side. I guess the pilot's on the right. It's kind of like opposite of a car.
Interesting.
All right, I mean, this one's a little different, but the whole concept is still there. So like my hand would be on the left side of the yoke, and then my my right hand was supposed to just be on the throttle, which makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah, the lever next to the red button.
The red, yeah. I mean, that one I was also asking about, and that was kind of like what I was trying to tie in. When we landed, I was asking about like the red one, which I was asking if that was our fuel, which it was. Because if you cut off the red in the air, that I guess the red is dead, but I guess it just shuts off the fuel. If you when we first got in, you see the red switch to the bottom left.
Yep.
Yeah, I was asked to flip that from right to left, and then.
Is that just kind of like a kill switch for the plane? If it's not switched to the left, it just won't start, or?
I don't know. I don't actually know yet. I mean, I think that one, those ones are to it stops the fuel from the wings, which is, you know, obviously where the fuel is stored. It's in most aircraft, the fuel is stored in the wings. If you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
So it just flipped the fuel source from the right to the left, I guess, and then or you just flip it all the way to the left to off.
Yeah.
And she told me, like, don't be an ape about it, but just flip it to the left. Because I guess some people like flip it all the way, but
Interesting. See, now you've got me curious. All right, I want to see how I do in this. I want to see.
I don't know.
I want to see if like the person I'm doing the flight with just says you're not cut out for this. I'd never want to see you.
That would be interesting if she said that.
That'd be,
I don't think that would ever happen.
I'd take that kind of harsh. I don't know. I mean, I've never had a. It's kind of funny. So like you obviously, and then my coworker, both you guys have fucking. Since like early on in your life, you know, the idea of being a pilot has been in the back of your mind. I've never once thought.
Well, he's copying me, but yeah.
I mean, well, you know what? Yeah, you're my friend. I'll say that he's copying me. I don't know. It's I guess the difference between you and me, it was never like a childhood. Like I never got wowed, which I had like the perfect opportunity to. I flew when I was like 5 to Las Vegas. Like that could have been like the perfect. Holy fuck, planes! I could have been like you. but it just never like stuck.
But like
with
for me,
so-
when I was younger, it was a single engine plane like this. So it was like
Yeah.
kind of like, and I was sitting in the cockpit
vertical.
because my brother was too afraid to sit up front. So it was just like it was.
like 5 or 6 at the time, or
I was like 6 or 7 or some shit.
Jesus Christ. Your brother's like 3 or 4 years older
2.
than you.
Like like 2 or
A
3.
little bit. I suppose. Wait, is he only a year older than me?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's 24.
I don't. This is like my stupidness showing, but I swear, like I thought he was like 3 or 4 years older than me. I know that doesn't make any sense.
No, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So I was.
Yeah.
So the cockpit was right there, like literally in my grasp, because like he asked me to grab the yoke at some point and start like
Yeah.
moving it
And you
around,
did it.
and
Yeah.
yeah. So like I feel like it was a little different because when I went on a flight to Florida on a commercial aircraft when I was just a couple years older, it didn't, like, it was still cool, but like the concept wasn't right there in front of me,
Yeah.
like as as in front of me as like being in a cockpit, because even before then obviously it like never crossed my mind until that day. So
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't have as much experience with it. Like I flew, to Las Vegas and back when I was like 5. I don't really remember any of it. And then I flew in, what was it, April or March of last year. It wasn't. I enjoyed it. Alright, it was nice. I mean, I didn't freak the fuck out. I was feeling a bit nervous, and the adrenaline of being up on a fucking plane. It's a bit like, oh shit, this is really happening. And then once you're kind of leveled out and you're just in the sky and you can just look down, it's kind of cool. It feels a bit surreal.
it just doesn't feel real.
The only parts that I really didn't like were from what I remember, the ascent wasn't so bad. Felt a bit okay. This is interesting, but the descent, I remember my ears were popping pretty fucking violently, and it just didn't feel the greatest.
See, I noticed
but,
that too. We did like a practice of a spiraling down. Like at some point she told me like, all right, cut the power off completely. And then,
yeah,
I've heard like worse stories about it, like where student pilots, like their instructor will just like shut it off like without warning, and then like, okay, deal with it, figure it out.
that's what my coworkers told me. What is happening?
Yeah, which I mean, that's why like I even read up on the gliding distance on the aircraft because they have like a gliding distance chart inside the manual.
Yeah.
That's why I looked at that, just in case. But we just like did a basic spiral down, and then obviously asked like, okay, are you good? Like, are you feeling all right? All right, don't fuck with me because we're about to do, a spiral down,
Yeah.
and apparently that fucks with people a lot. But
I mean, I can imagine it. Yeah, it's a bit
yeah, no, it felt great the whole time, and then like you had that funny feeling in the stomach the whole time. It was, I don't know, I can't explain it. I really enjoyed it. It was obviously like interesting, and like it felt wrong because like I didn't know as much as I should have to be like moving an aircraft in the air like that. But like,
you did it.
yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I guess I did do it. So
You did it. You are him. You're partaking in like I think one of the coolest things that like we as a species have done. We made planes that go into the sky. I just think it's so cool, even if it's not like my ultimate calling or
conquering the air, yeah.
Yeah. Somali, do you think you'd enjoy being a pilot?
No.
Do you ever want to just like take a ride in a plane,
I'd be curious.
like a single engine like that?
Oh, no.
No.
I don't think so.
Molly, as soon as I get a biplane, you're gonna go into the front seat.
I don't think you want that.
What do you mean? Why wouldn't I want that?
Because I would probably be freaking the fuck out the entire time.
What, would you jump out? Usually the front seat is where the passenger sits in a biplane.
Yeah, I think I'd handle myself better in a plane like that than on a Ferris wheel. But, you know, it's also like, the Ferris wheel just felt sketchy and you weren't helping that.
Alright, I'm sorry. But,
No, it's good. I needed to get over to...
Okay, so, like, I used to also... I feel like another thing that, like, really got me out of my comfort zone was, like, I used to be, like, a super, like... I'm not saying... throwing any shade to you, but, like, I used to be, like, a super pussy about, like, going to, amusement parks and doing, like, intense rides, you know? Ever since I was really young, like, I couldn't handle it because, like, you know, I would have freaked the fuck out too much. Eventually, we did this, like, mega swing at Valley Fair, right? And then, you know, just seeing, like, the view. And also, like, my dad shitting on me, like, oh, you want to be a pilot and you can't handle being up high? That's interesting. That's interesting of you to say.
See, that's shit dad behavior, but unfortunately, I think it got some...
Yeah.
That's the sad part, like, it's bad to reinforce bad behavior, but, I don't know. I'll have to keep that in mind.
There's a better way to go about that. But yeah, I mean, it did.
Yeah.
I think it did produce, like, favorable results because, like, you know, eventually I was like, I don't know. I don't want to keep regurgitating that, you know, what I do as my job profession at the moment, but, like, you know, eventually got me to where I am, and then
I don't know. I think it's interesting that what Molly was saying, how, like, as a kid, you loved, like, at
Valley Fair or...
Yeah, like, you love that shit, but the idea of going into a plane like that just seems like... Do you think I should answer the call for my trainer?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, buddy, how's it going? No, but I can do that tomorrow because my internet's working again. No, I'm doing a podcast and I'm doing Coca-Cola.
Hey, how's it going?
I'll download it tomorrow though, and I'll play it with you. Why not?
Was it Ark?
Yeah. Bye-bye. What was that?
Is it Ark?
No, it's Phasmophobia.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
I played it before on VR. It kind of spooked me, but anyway. I mean, that's interesting though. I mean, fuck. I remember taking you to a certain place in town that was like it's kind of high up. You have to climb up there. And the first time I ever climbed anything really high up for my ultimate fighting job, it felt pretty intense. It was holy shit, I'm really high up, and all the emotions are hitting me. And
for me, like, again,
like, you just felt nothing. This is nothing.
No, I didn't. It was the complete opposite because, like, the height.
No, Molly was like, this is nothing to me. I feel nothing.
Yeah.
So you'd be like the perfect. Well, you could be the perfect pilot. You just have like no emotional response to like what most humans have about like high up. You just don't. You're built to be a pilot.
The worst part about climbing that was my foot slipped at one point.
Yeah.
And I like had only one hand on a bar or something. So like I thought I was gonna fall down.
I mean, yeah, that part's up, but like the actual
being up there.
I mean, I'd say that's good because like the first couple of times you ever do anything sketchy or intense, I feel it's just me. I'm only speaking for myself, but like the first couple of times I'm ever gonna be in a plane, unless I do it constantly, it's gonna be like a holy shit, I'm in a plane. Oh fuck, or I'm really high up, or I don't know, until it becomes normalized. I'm just aware of where I am, and
That's why I think you would be a little like at least a little jittery, in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like your feet are on the rudders, and she wanted me to have my hand on the yoke the whole time. So it was kind of weird because like I didn't want to be like trying to resist because she was flying the thing, you know, taking off and all that. Except I was the one who pulled back on the yoke, taking off, which is weird. While she was controlling it, I was like pulling back.
Interesting.
It was, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this is good. All right. I'll go for the helicopter shit, so we can compare.
That would be. Now I kind of want to do like I want to see what a discovery flight of a helicopter would be, especially like since they let you, if they would let you use the controls for a helicopter discovery flight, that would be interesting. I've done a few very albeit very shitty simulations of helicopters. I would say it was shitty only because we had full yokes that was meant for a plane, but I mean the concept was still there.
Yeah, it's still more than me.
I've also done a space shuttle simulation. All right, and I was one of the few in the class to actually make it down onto Earth. All right, because no one else could figure out like how am I supposed to get past the thermosphere.
You really need to tell Elon about
this. Yeah, and I'm qualified. I already done a flight simulation, all right, for the space shuttle.
Yeah. I don't know, it's, yeah, it's good. It makes sense for you, all right? You're having your main character moments again. You know, your childhood calling is resurfacing now into your adult life, and it's looking, you know, like, okay, this is what I want to do. You're enjoying it, and...
Yeah, for now. I mean, what sucks is, just like all this other extra bullshit.
Yeah, like financing it.
Well, financing it and just having to go to a training event for work for like a week. But like in between, I don't know. Yeah. I got to see the good in it. Like maybe it's like something I do like obviously try to do more often, but it's like when I do it, it's like a treat. And I got to like savor it, but...
Like a cigar.
Yeah.
I know you're probably not allowed to, but like you should definitely try and smoke a cigar at a plane at some point.
That's interesting because like in the schematics inside that, if you look at the manual, it has a cigar lighter in there. And I checked. The plane that we had, or that I was in, they removed it, which was unfortunate, but...
Society's going...
But yeah, since most aircraft that, you know, that are affordable are made in the 70s. And, you know, most of the same concepts are there for modern planes. Nothing's too special. Maybe, like, they have built-in parachutes now. If you're, like, that concerned that, like, your wings aren't going to fucking work when your power's off for some reason. But yeah, in the schematics, there actually is, like, a cigar lighter. So that it was meant for people to fucking smoke up there.
I know they still sell them as, like, aftermarket pieces. I mean, I guess it's a good thing. I don't know, like, part of me wishes I had a vehicle that had one of those cigarette lighters, because I grew up seeing that, and I guess that's the issue, like, when you're a kid and your parents smoke, you kind of start to think it might be cool. Well, I didn't think it was cool, but, like, I was intrigued.
I never thought it was cool. I thought it was like, oh, this is stupid, and then, like...
Yeah.
And then,
I see why.
You know, like, that's disgusting. Why would you ever do that to yourself? You know, that's horrible for your body. But, you know, as soon as, like, somebody offered it to me when I was, like, bored on staff duty, you know, that was me.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like the idea. I don't know, maybe it's, like, analog technology or fucking vintage shit, but lighting your cigarette from a port in your vehicle. I also burned myself as a kid with one of those, like, really badly.
Yeah. All right, this is a photo from the schematics that I took. If you look at 15, there you go. It's not even a cigarette lighter. It's too classy for that.
Interesting. Right near the pilot? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, you know? Why shouldn't you be enjoying some luxury while you're up in the sky?
You know, Frank Sinatra, Fly With Me.
Yeah, can you imagine if planes were as normalized as cars? I know this is where the Coca-Cola brain comes in. I know that wouldn't work, but like imagine if you had Ford making planes or Toyota, BMW, I think Mercedes made planes for a certain military, and it didn't go so well for them. But I think that'd be terrible. I don't think. I mean, yeah, most people aren't qualified to drive. Most people would not be qualified to fucking fly. They just would not. Would not do good. I don't know.
Yeah. I
think
mean,
it'd be
I'll
interesting.
I'll
this
see
is-
it through. I'll
we're gonna
see
be
like
personal pilot.
how it goes. Because I just want to see like how it compares to like a normal driver's license. Because like in most countries, a driver's license isn't like not like unattainable, but it like isn't required. So like obviously it's gonna be a little harder to achieve. So I think it would
Yeah.
be kind of similar to that. You know, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like the concept still has to be simple enough for like, you know, for like an average person to achieve it.
Yeah, you don't need PhD intelligence to become a fucking pilot.
Right.
You just need some.
Even like a commercial pilot, you don't even need like a fucking bachelor's degree. You know, unless you go through like a fucking college or like an actual program for that. But
Oh, this is good. You become a pilot. I'll transition back into my childhood focus as a wrestler,
yeah, that would be good.
and then Molly. I feel like we've probably asked you this before, but like as a kid, you didn't really have any like major focuses or things that like, oh yeah, when I'm an adult, I'm gonna fucking do this, and I'm gonna be amazing at it.
No.
Nothing. Yeah, that's
Not even like cosmetologist.
I mean, like, how young are we talking?
Like at any
I
like
guess
young
as
age,
you
really.
remember where you had the idea of like, I want to do something. Like for me, I think the whole wrestling thing came from a PS2 video game and really enjoying playing it with a friend. And then I think my parents noticed that I, got really excited. They started showing me some fucking WWE. I remember renting out a pay-per-view and then actually going to fucking Rochester, Minnesota to watch a live event. I don't know. I was like 6 or 7, but I guess like as young as you can remember, if there was anything where it was like, yeah, that sounds so cool. I want to do that. Nothing though, really.
Not like cosmetology stuff would be like
Probably the.
probably the equivalent, but
See, I'm gonna psychoanalyze you. I'm gonna say Buffy was the inspiration for that. Because cosmetologist is just like doing makeup and special effects, like costume almost, or
Buffy the Vampire Slayer definitely is what got me interested in like the special effects type makeup. But I don't know, I guess I started liking makeup when I was like a really little kid, when my sister and her friends were bored and they'd like do makeup on me. Like they'd just like take me from my dolls or something. Like,
quit playing with dolls. Let my friends and I
Put makeup.
doll you up.
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting older sister experience.
So that was kind of when I like started being like, oh, makeup seems kind of fun.
Yeah.
But like it was never like this would be a fun job.
Yeah. Not until probably like early teenage years where when teachers push into the idea of like, you need a career.
Yeah.
I get that, yeah. I don't know. I mean, that is kind of interesting. Like, as a kid, I never... Watching, like, movie or TV, I never was intelligent enough to just think, like, anything other than, like, the main characters or the people on the screen. Like, I never thought about, like, the actual fact that, humans are filming this and it's a production set and there's other people making the magic happen. I was always just focused on the actors. I mean, I feel like a lot of people have had that that fantasy, where sometimes you think you're gonna stop the school shooter. They've had the fantasy of being like, I'm gonna be a successful actor.
You know what? As a kid, I did think it would be cool to be a judge on American Idol.
I think that could be fun. Once you get really popular.
Simon Cowell days.
Yeah. My fucking mom and sister loved that. Dude, I fucking hated it. They would, like, make me watch it with them, and I just didn't fucking care. Once this podcast gets, like, really popular, though, we'll, Molly's Got Talent or some shit, we'll just have people, like, sing for you, and you can just not impressed. It was always fucking American Idol and Wheel of Fortune. Like, I think both of those shows are still going on, but, yeah, those were, like, probably the first big reality, or just big TV shows that I got exposed to as a kid. And I think I only, like, started giving a fuck about TV. I know I've told you, Molly, but, like, I enjoyed shows like Survivor or Big Brother. Jason, have you ever heard of Big Brother? I mean, you've heard of Survivor, right? I don't know if I told you. I think it was like a month and a half ago, I applied to Big Brother, the season that's happening.
Yeah, you told me about that.
I'm not gonna get it. I do not have, like, a camera face or a camera personality. You need, like, LA influencer vibes, and I don't look like one. I'm not camera worthy. For them, at least. But, I don't know. I just like those kinds of shows. I just like the manipulation. I enjoy learning how to...
I mean, that's a negative mindset to have about yourself, but yeah.
What do you mean? That I'm just not, like, camera worthy?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, at least with how they edit those shows, obviously they edit it to be exciting and drama-filled,
Yeah.
especially Big Brother, but, like, comparing what you see on the TV versus, like, the actual live feeds that just record them when they're not, like, aware they're being filmed or trying to put on a performance, I don't know. I don't know if I have that, like, that switch in me where I can just activate, like, influencer mode.
Okay.
I haven't developed that personality yet. I'm just... Hey guys, it's Amadeus here. I don't know. It's not a dream of mine, but, like, I enjoy thinking about the reality where, like, I actually get offered a position on Big Brother. I would do almost everything in my power to actually try and make that happen, just to say that I did that. I think it could be fun.
I mean, if you look at my most recent, like, video, well, second most recent video on my channel, I don't think I've unlocked that yet. The whole, like, influencer fucking vibe. But
yeah, I think it's good because I hate, like, that typical influencer.
Yeah, I do too. That's why, like, I also hate, like, the idea of having a retail voice or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah. I mean, I had one.
I never had one. I just, like, spoke to them like a fucking person, and I feel like I
spoke to them as a person, but, like, I changed the pitch. I'm like, hi, thank you for choosing McDonald's. How can I help you? I'm just, like, I'm making it sound pretty.
Maybe it's just, like, the environment, You worked at McDonald's, I worked at Burger King. If you're going to McDonald's, you kind of want that, like, high-pitched thing. If you're going to Burger King, you're not expecting much. You're just gonna hear, like, all right, welcome to fucking Burger King. What can I get for you? And then,
what do you want?
Yeah. What do you want?
Ethan, you never had a customer service? Okay. Spur of the moment, do, like, a customer service voice. Just make one up right now.
Yeah, how's it going?
Okay, you're Terrible. Fired. Molly.
Customers.
Yeah, give me a line in your customer service voice. Just say anything.
How can I help you? It's hard to like get into it when I'm not like actually in the setting.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that.
Like I find myself doing it when I don't even like mean to.
That's interesting. You'd be a horrible actor.
I don't know, I feel like sociopathic sometimes. Let me explain. So like when you're with friends and like they make a joke, I mean it's sometimes it depends obviously, but like they think it's funny, they start laughing. I do this with certain people a lot. Like so I'll start like pretend laughing, and then if they like look away, then I'll just completely drop face. It's like Dennis, or just like
Jesus Christ.
cut
Okay.
motion. I think it's also just like it's just not funny, so I don't have an issue like not. I don't know, like switching.
Code switching.
Yeah, code switching. Maybe that's a skill. Yeah, this is where like manipulation and social chameleon comes in.
See, like, okay, so I mean I feel like that's normal. At least because like I do that with my coworkers. Like I'll make, like they have a certain like way of making jokes, and
yeah, and then you laugh to make them feel.
Yeah, I'll make jokes not to appeal myself. I mean, sometimes it'll be like funny to me and them. Like I feel like a chunk of the time it's like it's funny to like mainly them. So then I'll say it, and then and then like I'll be in the moment with them. But like I won't fully be like, okay, this is like the best joke ever. This is awesome. But
no, I get it.
I feel like it's normal because like that's kind of like a socially acceptable thing is to like, okay, let me appeal to this current social mindset.
I think the less you do of it, like it shows that I'd say like I'm gonna give it like a 98-99% mark. Like whenever I'm laughing around either of you two, it's on it's complete genuine. Like 99.7% of the time, it's like, oh, it's funny. I'm not I don't know. I just don't feel the need to like
fake laugh at a joke.
Yeah, like if it's not funny, I'll just I don't know. I won't laugh, and then I'll find the fact that I didn't laugh at your joke funny, so then I'll laugh, and then end result is the same.
Yeah, or like I'll make a comment on it, like, okay, bro, that's like just stop. But like most of the time, I feel like we kind of know each other. Like if I say something, I know it'll like either be ironic enough, or like I obviously didn't intend it to be funny, or like it's actually funny, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess with my current job, like I don't switch into customer service voice. Maybe I should try it because I feel like I've been getting more awkward when I like introduce myself at a gas station and explain what I'm there to do. I feel like
it's less awkward because you're just like talking to them like another human.
Yeah, not trying to like pamper and corporate speak.
I feel like if anything, they're the awkward ones. Like that one time where like I came in and said I was Carter.
That shit is.
I feel like that was like either they still think about it today or like that went completely over their head.
They worked at a Circle K. I'm gonna say it went
yeah.
over their head. That's still like one of the top 5 moments in this job.
Or like when when I went back into the store and I was like I introduced myself again like as a different person. Like somehow that like never like they didn't do anything about that, but
I don't know, maybe some people just don't find us funny, which would be crazy to me. I mean, we literally had this entire town laughing at the two of our antics,
Yeah. We had the whole
for the play, we were the only
we had the whole squad laughing.
We had the whole town laughing. Yeah.
We shocked the school with our performance with Danger Zone. All right.
Looking back on it, I wish I was more willing to like go full force. You gave me the okay to like, maybe not like full fucking force, but like put some effort into it, put some elbow grease, and I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, you could have been like a
feedback.
dick to me or something like, okay, well he's still in training. I was thinking about doing the other
Yeah.
thing around, where like I was acting like you're superior, but
Yeah. I don't know. The teacher should have congratulated us, right? We should have gotten an award for that. That was.
oh, we were talking.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we were still talking about the gas station. That,
Oh,
yeah, no, we should have got a. You know, the fact that the audio quality was garbage. Everything else was fine. It was just the audio. But
yeah.
I mean,
The only people laughing at that was Elias and I. And I mean, like,
That's great. That's
the group, our group.
for what, the danger zone one?
The danger zone.
that's great. You
We
know.
were like the only two people laughing.
What I
We
heard
knew
from the
what-
cafeteria lady, which I befriended over time. If I didn't move, I would have actually worked on her farm over the summer, which would have been interesting. Would have been under the counter money.
I would have been.
But
Yeah. What'd you say?
but she said that like people were like actually questioning and like were concerned, you know, in the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. We
Yeah,
did a great
that's.
job.
I don't even care
Yeah.
for laughter. Like if people like genuinely thought that was like a beer bottle that you chucked at me.
Performative.
Yeah.
We saw people. So we had our taxes done today, and we had to drive up to a city. We saw people with they had a sign over their body. What
There was
was-
two people with.
Yeah, two
that
people with
each sign.
signs. Abortion is murder, and it's like political activism type stuff, which I don't know why that reminded me of it. This isn't like a great topic transition, but it just
See, I see so much of that in my town that I just like kind of gloss over it because most of the time it's just like them begging for money or like, I have child, please
Yeah.
give me money, you know.
I don't.
Yeah, the only reason I like looked at these people with the signs is because like normally when we're in that town, it's just a bunch of like help, need money,
Yeah.
homeless, need gas, stuff like that. I just saw
Stuff.
great in like big bold letters on one of these signs. And then the other sign had like abortion is murder. So like
It's more eye catching.
it was just like one of those like what the fuck? And then we drove by them too fast for me to like really figure out what the sign said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still
Right.
reminded of the guy in our town. He used to post up near the place where I work. The vaccines are a bioweapon.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh my
It's
god.
also winter though.
Dude, I regret not talking to him. He could have red pilled me so much sooner. I could have.
That could have been very interesting. At least like to get an interview with him.
Yeah, I don't know. I could have learned so much from him. But like, I think that guy will always stick with me. Of just like, I don't know. In my small town, I think that's like the only other person I've ever seen like hold up a sign to like stand for a message. I've done that with a group of people. We were protesting the Roe v. Wade overturning, I think.
Yeah.
Myself, Molly, and like 5 other people in my friend group. We were just holding signs on.
They just kind of invited us because they wanted more people, right?
It sounds about right, yeah. It was okay.
Do you feel like you made progress
remember Molly.
towards that?
No.
Not at all. I mean, I know Molly. You had a megaphone and you shouted like "fuck America"
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, very Soviet of you to say. But no, we changed nothing. But First Amendment, you know, it feels good.
I mean, I guess I've never like practiced my First Amendment in that way, but like when they did protests, like I had PE during that time. You know, we're doing pool PE, and you know, I kind of enjoy swimming. And like, if you don't
Mhm.
like protest for any particular result, I don't really see like a point. Like,
You know, we're just protesting to protest.
yeah, because then you're just complaining. If you like actually have like an end result, and like it's perfect, preach it. You know, more people want to hear it because like you actually have like an agenda or something you want to get done. But if you just like are complaining about something on a street corner, like what Like, good for you. Yeah, you're saying it, but like, you're not gonna like, nothing's gonna happen.
I mean, I agree and I disagree. Like, I think if someone's just protesting, we need to reduce gun violence. I think it'd be great if you tried to like think of your own reasons as to why, or like measures to reduce it.
Yeah.
Um, but I also think it's not like, this one random person obviously will not have the resources. They know that something needs to change. They just don't have the tools to make the change happen. So why should they even bother trying to think of solutions? But
That's
also at the
such a
same
lazy
time,
approach.
think of
But like, at
solutions.
least,
They can gather more people to get a bigger voice.
yeah.
If they, yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. Yeah.
That's what I thought protesting was. Is that like you're trying to get more people on board with your ideas?
So you need to have an idea,
Yeah.
not just like shit's fucked. Let's change
Well,
it.
like, no, like if you say like let's change it, then like it sounds like you have an idea in mind. But if like you just say like shit's fucked, like okay,
Maybe
obviously,
something else.
yeah, maybe that's like
Yeah.
maybe gun crime is insane, especially in America. What should we do about it? Like thanks for telling me like something I could already fucking look up.
That were already.
Yeah, like what? Tell me how you'd like
Yeah.
to fix that. Like, if it was like, okay, let's reduce gun violence by getting rid of all semi-automatic weapons, I'd say props to you. I don't agree with it, but I'd say props to you because that's like an actual like reason.
It's a step, yeah, that you think will work.
Right. I mean, it's something that like that may or may not actually help.
It's an effort, which I guess sometimes counts.
But like that's why I didn't participate in that school walkout, for it was gun violence in schools or something like that. That's what the whole protest was.
I remember this, yeah. I mean, I participated because we were able to get out of class because, we're just standing outside the front of the building protesting school shootings, and it needs to change.
See, I didn't want to do that, like just to get out of class, because I wanted to like if I want to protest something, I want to like actually have like the actual spirit and will behind it. But if it's just like,
I'd say I'm the
When
opposite.
was this?
I don't know.
Because I know there was like quite a few like random walkouts that.
it was in when we were in 9th grade.
I mean, yeah, I remember you were still going to the same building, so it couldn't have been too late, but I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree, but I also think it could be fun just to like visit protests for the sake of it, even if I disagree with the idea or don't have any valuable input. Like, I think during 2020, a couple of my friends went up to Minneapolis. I regret not trying to get myself invited. Just, it sounds kind of callous to say it, but just, experience the moment, see what one of these is actually like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It also sounds callous to like phrase it like that. I can't think of a better way to phrase it.
I'd like to go like
Protests don't do anything. If they did, they'd be shut down. So that's my base.
I mean,
take.
yeah, we already talked about this 1-2 episodes ago. Like, you're unless the government actually feels threatened, like it's not like a real protest. Nobody's gonna care.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we should carry guns when we protest.
I mean, if that's what it takes for what you believe in, then I guess.
I mean, yeah, it does. Armor-piercing rounds. I mean, yeah, that's why the Second Amendment is there. It's
but like, yeah.
Oh, actually, before you say your thing, I'm sorry. I just have to interject before I forget. I forget what state it was, but an appeals court recently ruled that it's unconstitutional to prevent 18 to 21-year-olds to. I don't remember if it was like own a firearm or own a handgun in particular, but it was something. It's pretty much something along the lines of like rolling back age regulations for owning a firearm to it just being 18, which I mean I kind of agree with.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
if you can join the military, like, you should be able to drink, you should be able to own a gun, or all those things
Right.
should be moved to 21. It feels just weird to segregate.
I can, you know, pay for taxes. Well, I mean, it's interesting though. I mean, yeah, because even when you're like 17 or like, yeah, when you're 17, like, you can pay taxes, but you can't vote, you can't drink, you can't own any kind of firearm, but you can enlist yourself to die for your country. You can't participate in any of those country's constitutional rights, but you can die for it.
Yeah. I don't know. It is just kind of funny. Maybe everything should just be made legal once you turn like 15 or some shit.
I think like whatever the fuck they set as like the proper military age, they should just make everything legal at that point. Or like if you're in the military, I guess if you really want to make that exception, then you know, you get more access to things than if you weren't. So I feel like other than that,
I think just make it all 18. Driver's license at 16. I have no issue with that.
yeah, you can even get a pilot's license at 16.
That's interesting, but okay, I get it. Yeah, if you're capable enough. I don't know. America's different though, you know? You need, pretty much need a vehicle, unless you live in a major city where they have decent transit, or you can just, like, walk everywhere. I mean, you don't need, but, like, you kind of need, because...
We're a car-dependent society, and we
I
hate those that disagree with us. You know?
I enjoy driving, for the most part, but, like, the worst part about driving is other drivers, by far.
Yeah.
I
had one today where I was at a stop sign and I was letting some guy go. It was at a weird intersection where like I was taking a right, but like it's hard to explain. It doesn't even have like an actual proper name that I know of, but like there's an actual like turning lane. And when I was kind of like in the turning lane, there's like stop signs for you to stop. So I stopped, let that guy go, and then I was about to go, and then someone started like driving. And they gave him like a hand gesture. I didn't even honk at him. I just gave him like a hand gesture, like, what? Why'd you do that? Yeah. What the fuck? And then they just gave me the same gesture back. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm just driving, bro.
That's where you, yeah, that's where you make him the main character of like a horror movie where you just chase them.
Yeah.
I mean, just driving back from getting our taxes done, going like 60, 65, and then people turn onto the highway, and they just don't even try and get up to speed. You know, they'll just casually.
All right, I hate that.
Getting up to speed. It's just like, especially when there's no vehicles behind me. Just,
I hate like the opposite too, where like they don't let me merge on. Like, there's no other choice. Just let me fucking merge.
Yeah.
But like, if I let you merge and I let you merge properly, then like, why are you being a dick? Just go faster. Yeah. There's like forever ago, Molly and I were in the same driver's ed class. You know, they showed us a video of like Goofy merging onto the freeway. You know, they told us, you know, don't be the guy who fucking stops, you know, right before you merge onto the traffic, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be that guy.
Yeah.
That's how you get honked at, and that's how you get death threats. And
that's how you actually, like, not even just that, that's how you just, like, kill someone. Because then you're going to, like, get concerned. Like, people honk at you, and you're like, oh, what the fuck do I do? And then you step on the gas pedal, but you weren't looking to the right, so then the guy just, like, slams into you because, like, they're going 70 because that's what the traffic was going at. The speed limit was really 60. But, like, you know, that's where the traffic was going, so, like, you know, you can't really blame the guy. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think perfect world, invest in infrastructure to make America less car dependent, because that'll make everyone happier. The people that don't want to drive or suck at driving don't have to drive. I mean, you we were on PlayStation with our friend who is, we heard about their now convicted felon of a roommate
Yeah.
who drove into someone's car on campus and just kind of like brain dead. Oh, well, I'm just gonna drive home. I'm freaking out. I agree that like some people shouldn't drive, or like you shouldn't be forced to. I don't know.
I feel like that's another
It's
thing.
easy for me to bitch.
I feel like that's a good point though, because like there's people like on the road who like have no ambition to drive. I need to stop like listing things out like that. Maybe I do have a linear mindset. Well, like, but people who like have no ambition to drive, don't want to, or like, okay, you know what, fuck it, I'll drive, but I'm not gonna like pay attention,
Yeah, I mean, okay, Molly, I want to ask you, hypothetical universe here, if, okay, maybe this is, your job is in town.
Yep.
There's a bus route that would pick you up, drop you off, and you know for a fact that it's kind of like, the school bus. Like, there's not going to be any people doing, like, meth or crack on the bus. It's, like, safe, reliable transportation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to drive. Would you still rather
Let me add
drive yourself?
let me add something in there. It's like, it's not like you get there like 30 minutes before work. It's not like the perfect time, but like it'll still get you to work on time.
I mean, even before that, I would still rather just drive myself, probably.
I guess. You just don't want to be around other people.
Yeah.
Like, strange. I get that, though, yeah.
I mean, I
fine.
can understand that when I'm like on like a midnight trolley on fucking in Minneapolis, but
Yeah. I gotta do that still. It sounds like a fun experience.
yeah, maybe when I go back to college, we can experience that together. But
Yeah, we'll take like 3 tabs of acid at like
that I would not do that. I feel like I would like
come
look
on.
off into the distance and then end up looking at someone who's like an actual like psychopath or something, and then that apparently that happened to my dad, where like he was just gazing off, and then some like meth head was like, "Who are you looking at? Huh? Who are you looking at?" And then he just had to like, like say like, "I'm not looking at anything, buddy," and then like looked a different way. I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
Well,
like get into a confrontation?
No, you took combatives 1. You trained me. All right. Well,
Yeah.
together, the 2 of us were the combatives 3. So,
Yeah. He's, notoriously knives are like easy to dodge and like very predictable.
I watched The Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's easy though. Like in major metropolitan cities, I feel like it's.
I've
know if
taken the
it's that weird.
Trailblazer before. Most of the time they're
Yeah, me
like
too.
just like old people that are like, economically disadvantaged. Like it's not like to get away from people like in that small town. I mean, I feel like that's not really like that great of an excuse.
Yeah. I have less of an issue with poor public transit in small towns.
Yeah.
Because the traffic just isn't as bad. But like in major cities where there's a lot more budgets and there's a lot more people that would benefit from having, like subway stations or train stations, like how Chicago or New York do their shit. Like in Minneapolis, for example, I hate being a part of traffic. It's just, it's my non-linear brain. It just hates the fact that I can't move.
Right.
I need to be stimulated. I need to move. I don't know. Everyone fucking hates it, though. I'm not unique in hating traffic.
I think a big
It just
like my toxic trait would be, even if I had access to like public transportation and shit, I would still get a driver's license, just because I still want that life goal of like I've pretty much like driven and like piloted or driven like everything, because so far I got like a couple different vehicles on the ground, and so far I've like one aircraft, so
You know, at one point I do want to buy a vehicle with a manual transmission, just because I want to say I know how to
I mean,
drive
that
one.
too. I
We
want
can
to
go.
eventually get to that point. Someone was trying to teach me, but I killed the engine like a couple times, and then he was like, "Fuck it."
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done it twice. I think I stalled the engine a couple of times before I got it to move a
Yeah.
little bit, and then I was just very jerky with it and not smooth. My only excuse is that this was before, like, I even had my license, like, you know, pretty much almost first time learning how to
Yeah.
drive. I just did not have.
I mean, I kind of learned it with like a motorcycle on how to like kind of change it over.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't going that fast, but I mean it felt fast for what it was. You know, going 30 miles an
Well,
hour
yeah.
in a motorcycle felt like a lot faster than a car, which,
Well, yeah.
you know,
I This is another childhood memory. I don't remember who the fuck this guy was, but like a friend of my mom's. I swear, like either a wannabe biker or like an actual biker gang member in Minnesota, whatever the fuck. He rode a Harley and he had leather jacket and like dark. He had black jeans and
yeah.
shit. But he took me on his motorcycle a couple of times, and you know, as a kid, being on a motorcycle is, I don't know, it's just fun. It's
I mean,
I
that
wanna
was
do it.
which was interesting was like I was a little like tipsy on alcohol. And that was the first time I've ever been on a motorcycle just driving it. Like
That's
around the
great.
block, you know, and that, I don't know. That's one of my peak memories.
Yeah. One of my peak memories is riding a ATV through like a forested area. Um, Not by myself. There was another guy who was kind of like leading the path.
Yeah.
Um, Family friend, I guess I'll just call him. But I was just following him around, and you know, four wheeler. It's just fun trying new things, especially as like a young kid. Where I don't know if you feel more emotions more intensely, but it's just a good memory. But then the owner of the property, like getting on his own ATV and driving us down, and then just start bitching the other guy out for, you know, you're destroying my fucking property, you're causing
That's kind of
damage,
funny.
I told you not to fucking do it. You know, just as like a young
Yeah.
kid, just
See, I haven't driven an
eventually.
ATV. I've ridden on one before, but
Motorcycle sounds more fun.
have you ever rode a horse?
Yeah, I've been on a horse, so this is actually kind of funny. Our school that we went to when I was still at church,
Yeah.
um, you know, my dad was religious, so we bounced from church to church, and I remember at that school, um, leaving through leaving through Kelsey's.
Jesus Christ.
I just made it worse. I just made
That's
it
even
worse.
worse.
Well, this is what you get for a friend.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
Leaving through that back classroom door, and they had like a horse set up there, where you just like get on a horse and they just kind of like walk you in a circle. You know, for small kids. I remember almost falling off, but I didn't. So, um, yeah, I've had one Arthur Morgan moment at least in my life. Have either of you guys been on a horse?
I've also like the little fair things where you just get walked around on a little pony.
Nice.
I mean, I actually like rode one. Like I was taught how to like control it, and then yeah, like we all had our own horse, and then we just kind of rode it in a path. So I was actually controlling the horse and shit.
Fucking cowboy.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're gonna talk about Arthur Morgan moment, you know.
Whatever, I get it. All right, I see why you think your life is more exciting than mine.
No, I was just saying, you know.
No, I see it. You know, you carry that chip on your shoulder, and it's.
I'm just saying, like, how many times have you like jumped out of an airplane? All right, I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm not gonna say that ever again.
My first time will be my last time.
I mean, for me, for skydiving, I think my first time might be my last time, depending on how much I enjoy it. I feel like tandem would be a lot different than like being in full control, but it would also give you like a lot of like you know, either like fuck this or like, hey, that was like kind of more awesome than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think a great friendship bonding experience would be like you and I would be tied together and we jump out of a plane, and unless both of us pull our parachutes, we're both going to
Yeah.
die. I think it would be fun. You know, we just look each other in the eyes and just like, okay, cave. Push it.
That sucks because I know I would cave first.
I don't know. I think you've never seen me scared before, Jason. At least I don't think you have. Have you? You've talked to me.
No, I don't. I mean, you've definitely seen me scared.
Have I?
Yeah, like social situations, talking to Mr. Becker. You know, when I
Oh,
was like
okay. Yeah.
still afraid of
Yeah.
like a social confrontation like that.
Still a good memory. You're the best from high school. Molly, you've definitely seen me like scared. You'd say, right? Like maybe worried or just like, you know, kind of freaking out a little bit, like actual like, fuck.
Not really.
I think like probably the closest, like smoking, I think with some friends, and then just getting back and kind of just like freaking the fuck out. Like I remember thinking like I was seeing shadows move, and I woke you up like,
Yeah.
am I imagining things, or it was like the shadows moving?
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know. I think it would have been interesting if you guys saw me in person the first time I tried any substance. Molly, you got the fun end of that experience.
Yeah.
And Jason, you got the very tail end. I still find it so.
You say
funny
tail?
that I told you.
Sorry, what'd you say?
You did that all on yourself. I wouldn't even try. Have low gluten conditioned you. But no, I remember just like texting you once I kind of sobered up. Like you said, oh, by the sound of it, you know, you had an LSD experience, and I said, fuck no. I've heard a lot of shit about that, and I'm never trying that. That's just funny to me. I don't know why.
That what? Wait, who said that?
I said that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I've heard a lot about LSD, and that sounds really fucking horrible. I'm never gonna try that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, curiosity is it's fucking fantastic, man. It does some dumb shit to you, but I don't know.
I mean,
think
it's
it's
weird. I mean, I still
know,
want to try it someday.
Yeah. Just don't become addicted, alright? Don't let it become the best part of your life, and then you're good.
Curiosity?
Oh, no, I try and let that, like, rule most of my life. I was curious what it would be like to try and talk to you again and be friends with you, and, you know, I was curious if I could make it work again with Molly, and I think curiosity, like, if you have to describe an emotion to lead your life, I'd say that's probably one of the best you could choose, because I don't know, you experience new things, you try things, and that's good. Better than fucking you ever just meet someone and think that like they're just resigned already? They checked out when they were fucking 22. I meet a lot of gas station employees, so that's why I feel like I experienced that.
Experience what?
Just like looking at someone or speaking with someone, and you think that like this person just probably gave up when they're 22.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I either get that or like I get the same feeling towards myself, or like I gave up earlier than I should have, or maybe like you know, this guy was more ambitious than I was, huh? Because like I saw one, or maybe not. Maybe it's just because I chose different paths. But like there's someone that I saw today who was a flight instructor, and he was 21.
Nice.
But like he was probably like flying since he was like 16, and you know, he probably doesn't have any other job, probably hasn't left the state. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I could compare myself all day, but I can put stuff in perspective that makes me feel better, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of the worst things you can do. I mean, I do this as well. I'm envious of the people who, I don't know, they got locked in early. they have that fucking goal as a kid or young teenager, and I think that's like some kind of resolve and discipline, and I don't know. Society says it's
Yeah.
good, so I feel like a jackass that I couldn't do it. But,
All I knew is that I wanted to be an entrepreneur of some kind and pilot something. That's it.
combine the two, perfect.
Yeah, you're right.
Make the SR-73.
All right.
I don't know.
You know, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back.
I mean, I think that's probably the most realistic way that I'd die, is like doing something that's probably ill-advised, because I wanted to, experience it. Like,
But the second half, though. But satisfaction brought it back. You got satisfied with what you were curious about.
I've never heard the second part.
There's a second half to that.
I've never heard anyone.
Because everyone's so negative.
I mean, yeah.
Everyone's like,
I think-
stop being so curious. Stop looking into it.
Yeah, stop questioning if your cats actually need vaccines. They try and put you down.
Yeah. It's not even just about cats, all right? The whole thing is like, don't be curious. Don't look into it.
Yeah, just trust what we
Yeah.
say. I'm starting to sound conspiratorial when I say that. But
No, I was kind of like hinting at that too.
I don't know. All right, Molly. Let me get your brain going. I'm gonna ask you a very vague and hard to answer question. If you had to describe like a single emotion that's been kind of like the driving force behind what you do or how you think, like how I said, curiosity is what I like to think mine is. What do you think it is for you? And Jason, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. So think of your answer.
So, what emotion fuels me the most?
Yeah. What fuels? Yeah. What Yeah. What gets you up in the morning?
The fact that I need to.
That feels like resignation.
No idea what emotion.
We'll come back to you in a little bit. Jason, do you have one?
It's either like excitement or like, okay, I got to do this today. Like today I got up early because because I knew what I was going to do. I was actually, kind of excited.
So excitement.
What was that?
So excitement would probably be the one.
Excitement or anxiety, maybe, would be a big one. Like, like,
Interesting.
well, I'm going to be late for work if I don't get up, so let's just fucking get up. Because, like, I feel like it's a normal human trait. Like, if you're working at a job, eventually it gets boring, or, like, not every day is going to be fucking exciting. So, like, you just have, that different mental threshold of, like, all right, let me see how long I can stay home before, like, I can start clocking in, or, like, I can show up.
Let me see how far I can push it.
Or maybe I'm just, like, a shitbag now, but, like, I feel like I'm just...
No, I've done the same thing. I mean, even with this job, like, I used to make an effort to wake up early and, like, try and get to my job sites, like, hour to 30 minutes early, and, I mean, as long as I get there, and, it's more like, when do I want to be done with the job? Which is one of the few things I do enjoy about this job, is they haven't been cunts about the schedule. They'll schedule me for 8 o'clock to start my job, and, I'll get there at noon, and, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
But that's just with this job. I was thinking about my time at McDonald's and like the amount of people, and I did this myself a couple of times, that just like no call, no showed. It's just such a, like a first job activity thing to do. It's I feel like a shithead for even doing it. Like, I didn't have the decency to even, like, fake call in sick or just come up with some bullshit. I just, nah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is kind of fun to, like, try and make up reasons as to why you can't come in. I came up with some pretty fun. I think probably the dumbest and funniest one I did is that, like, my uncle got into a car accident, and it's pretty severe. So, yeah, I need to deal with my family situation. And then I went to Target with Molly and got some Starbucks, and then ran into a coworker.
Oh yeah.
It was
Did
great.
you act like upset?
No, I just like I tried to do the we can be friendly about this. Like, you cover for me or you don't rat me out, and I'm in your debt.
Yeah.
You know, you got me, I got you. Yeah, and then I pissed her off once, and she tried to like rat me out to the GM because it just didn't matter. She got pissy at me because I pissed people off. Okay, so I'm Curiosity. Fucking Nocam is excitement. Anything come to mind, or
No.
let me therapist you and give one to you, and I'll see how you respond to it. Deal?
Okay.
You don't love your job. It's just something you do to pay the bills. You enjoy crocheting, but it's not like the most amazing thing for you. You just enjoy it. It's a fun hobby. You're looking for the feeling of contempt. Or contentness. Yeah, you just, I don't know if that really fits the phrasing of my question, but like, you're just trying to be happy. You're just trying to maintain happiness. Is that reasonably close?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I feel like that's, I'm sorry, that's like, it's probably what most people are trying to do. No one wants to maintain sadness, but...
What if it's less than, what if it's like more simple than that? What if it's like... What if it's just like, it's not even an emotion, it's just like, I just want to clock in. That's what...
I just want to make money for my company. I just want to provide for it. Bootlicker, final boss.
Bootlicker, yeah. I've yet to meet someone like that. I mean, I've met a few people, like, maybe in the military that are like, I don't even care how much you get paid, bro. This is, like, for my country. No, I've actually never met anyone like that. At least I don't think I have. Because most people are, like, at least are in there for some sort of incentive.
Yeah. Molly, do you have, like, any shills at your company who, like, they believe the cause, It, like, speaks to their heart, the mission of the company?
Well, I mean, everyone, like...
It's not the number one reason. For most people, like...
No, it's not like, oh, this is why I'm working here. But I feel like everyone that works there enjoys... I don't know, we've talked about it. I work at a thrift store that's owned by a company that works with special needs adults.
Yeah.
Those special needs adults get help, like, with getting jobs out in the community, or like within the company, such as the thrift store. And a lot of people enjoy that.
Yeah. I'd say it's a net positive for humanity that a program like yours exists. It's good.
Is it?
I mean, am I confusing you with, like, my switching between, like, absolute zero empathy to, like, being able to recognize good things?
No, because like I was just like trying to make a reference to earlier about like, there's an emotional way of dealing with things. There's like an intelligent way of dealing with things. It's intelligent that like, they have less of a mental threshold, so therefore they're less useful in a workplace. So why hire them? Or emotionally, like we should hire them because it's a good thing. It's a net positive thing for community, and you're less of a shitty person if you just completely cut someone off just because of their mental state or mental condition
or physical capability. Yeah. Well. Yeah. My job has some corporate chills. They love their bosses. They get on their knees every day for them, and they believe the bullshit message that they put out. At least they really appear like they do, and I don't know. I just don't work for real people. I work for fake emotions masquerading as human.
A lot of it is also like older folks, right? You're probably like more for the company.
Yeah.
Like
they come from a different era.
They deserve the spot they're in because they worked hard and they created the company. I'm just a pawn, and I realize that. So let me work hard for them.
Yeah, I'm curious though. Like Gen Alpha, what's their relationship with their employers going to be? Boomers.
I'm curious.
Yeah, they gave a fuck. They put their head down, ground out the work, and then 20, 30 years of work, and they can fucking retire happy and comfortable. Gen X.
It's easy to say that like Gen Alpha is not gonna like do shit.
I think they will. Like Gen Z is. They get shit that like they're still working.
Sorry, yeah. Let's keep building it up. You were talking about Gen X.
Gen X, I'm just gonna call a wash. My parents' generation, they're just failures all around. Millennials.
Well, I mean, let's see from an employer standpoint. Now Gen X. I mean, I feel like they just like. At least they had like more established unions.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they like fully gave a shit, but they still had like the idea of you work hard and you'll get what you want in life.
Yeah. Millennials, I guess they're probably like the very start, at least in my interpretation of culture, of like we got shafted by the system, which probably rightfully so.
Yeah.
College debt exploded. Job market kind of sucks. Housing market's been getting worse.
I mean, that's why they're called lazy, is because they're like, what's the fucking point if we're just gonna get fucking fucked?
Yeah. The start of the participation trophy.
Yeah.
After millennials, it is Gen Z, right?
Yep.
At the current moment, yeah, we're getting the worst of it. We're like the worst workforce. We don't want to work. We don't ever want to come in. People hate working with us.
See, I feel like part of it is because we're the young ones now, so
it always happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So when the younger generation starts coming into the workforce more, it's like, oh.
Back in my day, it was better. We gave a shit. We had quality. It's literally been happening since the fucking 1920s. I've seen news articles like, these new people.
Even before then, like I've seen like, ye old fucking, anecdotes from like the 1600s of like older generations saying like these newer generations are ass.
Oh, it's perfect. I mean, to be charitable to them, I've definitely seen people my age who are just dog shit. Like, there's just no defense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I guess for me personally, I feel less motivated when like people just are constantly like, "Oh, you can't do anything. You know nothing." Like
the fucking when we helped our neighbor who fell and that police officer.
Mm-hmm.
I forget exactly what he said, but like, I want to say it was something along the lines of like, "I'm surprised, people your age gave a shit." What the fuck? I'm young. I have no idea. What?
I mean, yeah. A lot of.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like a lot, like maybe there is more dissociation in our generation, where like, since everything's filmed, Maybe I
Yeah.
can use this as like a form of clout, or maybe it's just that they're noticing these shitbags more, and therefore,
Maybe.
because anyone can film themselves. So like obviously, the more like clout-driven ego fucks are gonna be filming themselves more than the average person, so they're gonna be seen more, and then more people are
Yeah.
gonna recognize it as like, okay, this is what the generation is. Okay, I see how it is.
Or Jake and Logan Paul Gen Z by technicality.
And what year were they born?
I don't know.
How
I think
old?
1997 is when Gen Z technically starts.
Yeah. I think they're millennials.
Oh, that's good. At least they can have them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get a lot of it though. I mean, the economy has just gotten progressively worse ever since the boomer generation. So it's just hard to. I'm saying simple shit here, but it's hard to feel motivated when you don't feel like by the time you're in your 50s, you have a reasonable shot of having comfortable living and that you can retire and.
Or just, yeah, I mean, every
maybe have a
year
house.
there's always like a threat to Social Security. Like, it's not guaranteed for me when I'm older, but yet I'm paying into this system. I'm paying so much into it. Looking at my W-2s, I'm paying like a shit ton into fucking Social Security. Like, more than what I'm
You
paying
just
in
want
taxes. But, like, it's not guaranteed for me when I'm older. And even if it's not going to be enough for me to live off of when I'm older. It's like, what's.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I think the message is going to be once you're old, just
Kill yourself.
Maybe not that.
try and make some change, and then you'll probably end up killing yourself. But what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, 2 shots to the back of the head.
I also feel like a lot of people are trying to because we have social media influencers. We have just people in that regards, and a lot of people in our generation now are like, oh, that's the path I want to be. I want to be like
A YouTuber,
a YouTuber,
yeah,
a content creator of some
a
sort.
podcast.
I mean, I don't know
yeah.
how true it
That's
is.
so they're like, I don't want
to work a normal.
I don't know
job.
how true that
Yeah.
is, but yeah, I guess there's that statistic where like more kids nowadays want to be YouTubers more than like astronauts or like any other like bigger bigger
a
dream
doctor
jobs.
or yeah.
I mean, it's kind of perfect though. It feeds perfectly into your ego. If people love who I am and I can make money off of that, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
That a great ego fucking feedback loop right there. I mean, I'm sure most content creators aren't like egomaniacs. Some are, but it's also probably pretty easy. I'm sure it's soul draining in its own way, but dude, imagine if we didn't change a single thing about this fucking podcast. We just did everything exactly the same, but we got hundreds of thousands of views. You know how easy this shit is?
just to talk like, ooh, I love your personality. You know what? Maybe
Yeah. I mean,
maybe it would be interesting enough. It's just that we
Yeah.
haven't garnered enough attention for people to be like, hey, look at these guys.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's podcasts that do a lot of work, almost as much as us, but they do a lot of preparation about research about certain topics, their guests,
Right. I mean, they have
all that.
there's
Yeah, put, a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
You don't think I put a lot of
Almost
effort
as
into
much as
this?
us. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They almost put as much effort as we do into this podcast.
Yeah.
We are number one.
Everything
I
that
get it.
is on the podcast screen is graphically designed by me. All right. I mean, obviously, I didn't create the fonts or the very idea of a QR code, but
You haven't outsourced your work to China.
yeah, I haven't outsourced my work. Everything that was drawn there was hand drawn by me. All right. I'm just saying that I put a lot of work into it, but sometimes it just doesn't. Your hard work doesn't always equate to
success.
I would say success, but it's also the product. You don't always get the product of how hard you get into it, but that's also kind of the difference between the boomers and Gen Z, what I would say would be like at least Gen Z kind of like realizes like or at least kind of like sees like you put a shit ton of hard work into something, it doesn't always mean that you're gonna get like anything out of it. Boomers, like the
Oh, yeah.
boomer mindset of like, if I put like, I'll get exactly out of it what I put
30
into it.
years.
But like that's not.
30 years of my life to this company, and they will reward me in the end. And,
Yeah, maybe I'll be CEO one day.
or at least like
I'll move
I
up
know I'll be taken care of, or there's like a clear path. Like I can start at
I'll
a
be able
salary. Yeah.
to retire.
Like imagine, Molly, in your case, you start out at whatever you started out as, and then you spend like 30 or 40 years, and you'll be making like $90,000 to $100,000 a year. I know that's like impossible for your specific job, but just like imagine the incentive that would make. It's just, I know it's not always possible. All right, economics and jobs have certain market values, and people are more valuable than others, but like, I don't know. If you're able to work 40 hours a week, then your job is decently in demand. I don't think you should all be able to afford McMansions.
Yeah.
But you should at least be able to afford rent, afford groceries, and ideally, splurge a little, be able to take care of yourself, live a good
Afford a
life.
house.
Not have to worry about an unexpected like medical bill
killing you pretty much financially. Yeah. I don't know. Is healthcare a human right, Jason?
No, it's not.
Well, that's
Obviously, yeah, it is for like especially for like a first world country. We're like one of the only. I think we are the only Western first world nation that doesn't have universal health care.
I'm proud to not be socialist like that.
Yeah, no, it's a good feeling,
I love paying $600 for a medical bill to be told that we can't find anything wrong with you.
It is fucking ridiculous. I don't know. We've talked about this before. I don't think we have any groundbreaking solutions just yet.
No, we're just complainers on here, but at least we're not protesting.
Yeah, well, we're complaining, so something will eventually change at least. I don't know. I mean, you know what? Maybe we should just like petition Donald Trump to like tell Europe to pay for our military, and then we'll just do the healthcare thing for all of us and see how it goes. I find it crazy that we're pretty much financing Israel. All of their citizens, they have the universal free healthcare thing. We pay for that.
What?
We pay for
we
that.
Pay for their healthcare?
I will. I mean, at least according to the podcast I listen to, and I trust them.
That's actually insane then.
You saw how Trump froze all federal funding or foreign aid, right? Like, have you heard about
and then
that?
unfroze it when he realized, I fucked up.
I mean, before the unfreezing, the only two countries that were exempt were Egypt and Israel.
Why were they exempt, but like our own country wasn't?
You should start listening to the Young Turks. They make a pretty compelling case that the vast majority of our politicians are bought by Israel. It's kind of hard not to see sometimes.
I mean, the fact that like what the
it sounds conspiracy.
It does not at all, because like if you look at like what the leader of Israel right now is deemed an international terrorist by like all countries except the U.S.
I think the U.S. actually threatened to respond with sanctions against certain countries for that.
There's a reason why we're there. We want a presence in the Middle East, and also we're probably getting bought by a lot of people there. But
yeah, and Joe Biden put it best in the 80s when he talked about, Israel is America's station in the Middle East. It's how we secure our interests. I wish we had like one of your military buddies who was like very pro-Israel, because I want someone to challenge me, but I fully believe that Israel has a right to defend itself. Like, the Iron Dome, I think, is perfectly valid. They shouldn't have to worry about getting bombed or their citizens killed, whatever. I also think that, like, 40, 45, 50,000 civilians dead because of, like, massive carpet bombing and just, I don't fucking care. That's pretty much genocidal. If you don't want to call it genocide, then it's just blatant. I don't fucking care who dies. I'm just gonna bomb the fuck out of you.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like military officials that were saying that Israel was being pretty irresponsible with what they're
Almost
using
every
our.
country except the U.S. We don't call them out on it. It's they're defending themselves and they had to, and you know, 50 civilians died and we may have gotten one Hamas militant. Well, it's a worthwhile trade to me, buddy.
Well, like it's interesting. Fuck, dude, I forgot. I forgot the comedian's name.
Joe Rogan.
Norm, I think.
Norm Macdonald.
I didn't remember if it was McDonald or not, but like it was Norm Macdonald. It's interesting that like everyone who won in history just happened to be the good guys. That's very coincidental.
That is a good quote. Did you know that he used to voice death in Family
Yeah,
Guy?
I could imagine that.
But yeah, most of our politicians are bought and paid for. Donald Trump is no exception. What was it, the fucking Adelson family? Keep on hearing that name and how they've donated millions to Trump's campaign, and I mean, it's so different, It's like fucking corporations donate, they make your campaign happen, and they get you there. So now you gotta, scratch their back.
Yeah.
That's I think probably one of the, or this is the last thing I'm gonna say about politics, and then we're gonna fucking change topics or end this shit. But watching the RFK confirmation hearings, Bernie Sanders, the very economic populist guy, very universal health care, workers' rights, strong guy. He got called out by RFK for accepting, I think it was like 1.5 or 1.7 million from pharmaceutical companies. Bernie was trying to say that it's just like pharmaceutical workers, and then I've seen some TikTok videos talking about how it was not CEOs at pharmaceuticals, higher ups that were donating to Bernie from the pharmaceutical industry. I don't know, RFK was just trying to make the point that like the corruption runs deep.
Yeah.
You're all financed in one way or another. There's no contract stipulating that you have to do what they say, but if you don't, how are you gonna win the election next time?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? A grassroots campaign? Doesn't fucking work.
I thought it was interesting. One of his points was, if we make universal health care a human right, what about the people who smoke all their lives, and get like lung cancer, right? What? So they're just like pulling from the pool of just taking advantage of it, while like everyone else, like, well, we're just paying into their bad decisions. But like here he is, we got a video footage of him popping in his in. What if he gets gum cancer? And then we have to pay for his fucking gum cancer treatment or stomach cancer because he's not spitting it out; he's swallowing that shit.
That video's not confirmed to be a sin.
I mean, obviously, like it could be also like a caffeine pouch or something. More likely than not, there are more nicotine pouches than there are caffeine pouches that you put in like that. But
yeah,
assuming it isn't, then like okay.
The people that develop lung cancer from inhaling the secondhand smoke.
But yeah, they didn't do anything of their own accord. It just
well, they should have
or the people that are
they should have walked away or like told them, hey, put that out.
I don't know. I think it is. You should at least have like the opportunity to have decent health care provided to you at, this is going to be very vague to say, but like reasonable costs. However, it goes about.
They might think what we have now is reasonable.
Well, yeah, they clearly
cost.
do. They think it's very reasonable, the fact that they'll charge you like $3,000 a minute to have you anesthetized. I don't know if that's how you say it, but like under anesthesia during surgery. I think that's totally fair. There's got to be ways to make it cheaper. There just has to be.
Right. I mean, I just thought that was...
Even need for things to be costly. Like, people need to get paid, and you fund research with money, and I get that.
All the equipment that
they
have to have.
The skills and the expertise, you pay a plumber does a job in like 5 minutes. You pay for the 20 years of experience that he has, not the 5 minutes he was at your house. I
thought it was just like a baffling argument, just because, like the biggest leading cause of death in this country is heart disease. You get heart disease by being overweight, or eating the wrong things. Like, they're making poor decisions, whether they know or not. So should we not like pay for them because they made poor decisions in their life?
I think we should just have higher quality food be the norm. I don't know. Why are Europeans or Japanese or Asians so much fucking healthier than we are?
It's a great question.
Are they just that much more responsible? I mean, I'm sure some
a lot of it from
definitely
Japan,
are.
from what it sounds like, it's societal. You're looked down upon if you are just a little fat.
Yeah. I think that could be good. That fuck young me wouldn't have appreciated it, but like if that forced me to...
I'd be considered fat in Japan.
Like current you?
Yes.
Interesting.
Where do you get that from?
Like all the sizing shit that they have there. It's...
I mean, you gotta also think that like Americans tend to be taller somehow because of genetics.
We're just genetically
Yeah, we're just genetically like bigger, like have a broader and taller stance than them. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's... Okay, this is another topic change, but do you guys like notice how younger kids, they're just getting like shorter and shorter, and it's like fucking...
It's the gene pool.
Yeah, it's the fluoride in the water making our kids shorter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think our food, everything can be improved. I don't know how much of that is like the primary culprit of just like shitty food being so normalized and convenient over everything else. I don't know. I also don't think that like... This is an easy example, but during the time when like supersize at McDonald's was a thing, it's the fact that they offered that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was America exclusive.
I'd imagine.
It'd be great for my argument if it was, because it just proves the point that I don't know, it was just conditioned in our culture. Like, yeah, this is an option, bigger equals better. You're 5 years old, yeah, have a 32
Or
ounce
like
large
apparently
Diet
like
Coke.
if you're in Europe, their large is like our medium or something like that.
Yeah. That's good for them. They've yeah.
Which is interesting because like if you've ever like taken steps to like if you ever been like a fat ass to begin with, and then you like kind of like take steps to try and lose weight or make your gut smaller, I do realize like, holy shit, my portion sizes like should not be this fucking big. Like I used to eat like a ton more than what I'm, consuming right now, and I'm already full.
I wasn't done any favors as a kid with like the portions I was given.
I mean, I wasn't either. Especially like when you're younger. At least for my family, it was like, well, you're just gonna waste the food that I gave you, even though it was already full. So like, what am I gonna do? Like
starving kids. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Let that food go to waste? Well, fuck you. You don't get food next time then. Yeah. I know as an adult I can make my own choices, and I'm trying to be better about it. I don't know. It's just so difficult, and it's just such a hard habit to break. You know, I need to eat an entire pizza in 20
Yeah.
minutes. If I don't, I'm not a true patriot, you know? I'm not exercising my right as an
Stupid.
American if I don't devour
I feel like I
pizza.
genuinely have like more mental clarity though. Like if I eat less and eat less shitty, I just like
Yeah.
like I literally like my I don't know. Your body is your mind. Your mind is your body. It just like
My body's a
yeah.
temple.
But it
I
literally
mean,
does like when you eat better like or just eat less, like your body's just gonna I feel like there's I mean toxins is like the wrong word to use, but it just feels like that. Like there's less like toxins or like bullshit in your body.
yeah, less, yeah.
It just lets me like
I
think more
think our,
clear, like especially like after a run or something, where I have like that ultimate mental clarity, especially after like a runner's high. Like I just feel like, I could like talk about anything all day. But like after I eat like a whole
yeah,
fucking like, like a whole pizza to myself or something in 20 minutes, like you said, like that's like I'm out. Like
yeah,
I'm
you're,
either like mentally like fogged and I'm like I'm not there, like at least like any like there at all to be like productive or like I'm just like I'm just gonna fucking bunk out right now.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know how we fix that, though. RFK will deliver us if he
Well, just
gets
in
confirmed.
general, we should have like smaller serving sizes for shit. Which I mean, I guess I
Yeah,
think we're kind of fixing with inflation. Like fast food is becoming less desirable, at least to like me, because like when I see like
middle.
prices for like fast food, I'm like, what the fuck? Why is it like I'm paying for
Fuck that, yeah.
garbage? Why am I not getting garbage prices? What's the point?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think that, honestly, I never thought about that. Maybe in a decade or two, that might have some actual significance. I mean, it still sucks, high prices, but I don't know. I don't know if it really is fixable. It's hard to imagine like such a massive fucking issue like that ever getting fixed unless it's over the course of like decades. Like
But we don't think like that. We think short term.
overnight, yeah.
That's why we opt
I don't know.
for you know, the clean energy sources instead of like nuclear power because it's all like it's cheaper to put up a windmill farm than it is to put up a nuclear power plant. Nuclear power plant over time will be much cheaper and less
Once
and a lot less waste.
you know, we should write a letter to Trump telling him that if Canada threatens to like cut off our oil, um, not only can we like say fuck you to them, but also it's a good incentive for us to build nuclear, so we can just
Yeah,
okay,
so like he'll
your
100%
price on
read that and acknowledge that and he'll also like
yeah,
100% agree and change his agenda and he'll listen to us.
your politics bore me. He'll say that to Justin Trudeau.
If he genuinely said that, I feel like he would have to do a lot for me to be like, fuck yeah, I don't care what the fuck else he does at this point. I'm on board with him.
You're,
If he said
yeah,
that and then opened up nuclear power, like made slightly less restrictions on it, and like allowed there to be like some sort of like incentive for there to be more
mhm.
nuclear power in each state, then like I feel like then I would start being like, no, fuck it, like, start
Okay,
ramping up the tariffs. I don't care.
yeah. Um, I was gonna be hopeful and say that like I think it'll get better over the course of history, and I think it will eventually, but it happens in like hundreds of years. I mean, compare quality of life from 1,000 years to now. It's a lot better now, easily. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's slow. So I think eventually we'll get it like near utopian levels, but I don't think we'll be around to witness it. Which
What if the closest we were ever at utopian levels was the 90s, like you said?
Ooh, I like that theory that we're in the decline.
Yeah, like this is Rome, and we're in a decline of Rome right now.
I mean, I kind of believe it to some extent.
You know, China's
like,
eventually going to overtake us.
Yeah. You know how in season 1 of The Sopranos, like, Tony kind of wishes, or he thinks that, like, I came in at the very tail end of the golden days, you know, I'm kind of,
yeah.
It's sort of a new era, and this era is kind of sucky.
Or, like, yeah, Red Dead Redemption, you know, that too. Like, Red Dead Redemption 2, it's like the end of the era. It's like, all right, it's the last of our kind. They don't want guys like us anymore.
The Gen Z experience.
But that's very doomer thinking, and that's like very alternative to nothing ever happens.
Yeah. I don't... It's funny to say, but like, nothing ever happens sounds depressing as fuck.
I mean, it doesn't sound depressing. If anything, it's almost like uplifting. Like, okay, that's a good thing that like nothing like drastic ever happens. I mean, if nothing happens like towards a good cause, obviously that's horrible. But if like nothing ever happens in the sense that, you know, we'll never go to war with like a peer, like a near peer fucking like country or some shit like China, you know, like with Taiwan or some shit. You know, if nothing ever happens in that regard, I think that's a good thing. Like, it's a net positive for the world, but...
Yeah. Fuck, I'm breaking my oath if I ask that question. Fuck it, I can't think of anything else. What are your guys' thoughts on taking Greenland?
What?
So Trump has... His administration, specifically him, he's floated the idea of acquiring Greenland.
I mean, he floated that like forever ago.
I've seen it. I mean, I'll believe you, but this is like the first time I've hearing about it, like a week ago.
What? You didn't hear about it like when he first floated it in his first time running? First time he was...
No.
He literally floated that like back in... What, 2019? 2018, 2019? Like the tail end of his presidency around then, he was suggesting that. And, like, he was just asking, like, how much? And they're saying, like, we're not selling.
I didn't care. I just enjoyed my SJW's wrecked compilation.
Jesus Christ. But, like, regardless, he was, I mean, if anything, you should have been, like, knowing about it if you're... Whatever. You know what? Yeah, so he brought it up, like, forever ago, and yeah, obviously he's floating it again. Talked about invading Panama and also, you know, annexing Canada. But yeah, Greenland specifically, again, I think all nations, you know, if they want to be sovereign and want to be, like, by themselves, they shouldn't be forced to fucking give up their land to, like, some other dipshit country just because they think they deserve it or think it would be more useful to them than what you're using it for.
What if I wanted to found Carteria right here, right now?
What if you wanted what?
To found the nation of Carteria.
Well, you're currently on a sovereign nation that already exists. You would be a traitor. If you won that war, you would be seen as a success story by your people.
Would you see me as a successful person, Molly? I'm getting tired. I'm just bored.
Yes.
You against your the National Guard in your city, I don't think really stands much of a chance, but like it depends on like how you go about it, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, what was your point?
Happened.
Like,
I don't know. I'd be surprised if anything happened. Like if Greenland becomes any part of the U.S. Obviously, if Canada gets annexed, I'd be surprised. You know, that doesn't fit the narrative of nothing ever happened.
I think that's just a stupid narrative. That's like just kind of like amps up the dissociation of like the human experience. Like you can't, like you can obviously change shit. Like the whole reason the car you're in exists is because somebody came up with the idea and built it. It's just like it didn't just like appear one day. It's just like a country,
It
you know?
didn't.
The reason why this country exists is because, believe it or not, people our age stood up against a powerful ass government
Yeah.
and fucking, took what they wanted.
We should compare ourselves to them.
Yeah.
The conqueror, well, maybe not conqueror, but like,
But imagine if they failed. Imagine if they're like super successful, like in the beginning, and then they failed. They would just be seen as like traitors, or like, the great rise of the 1700s. They tried to take over our land, but thankfully we succeeded. Yeah, thankfully they failed.
We win. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess it's good that the good guys like us
Yeah.
win. I think it's important to.
Yeah, the good guys win every single time. What are the odds?
I mean, I've won. You know the saying, the house always comes out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I had money for like a tombstone, I think that'd be like one of the quotes I'd consider putting on there. I think it could be funny.
What?
The house always wins.
I think for me, my tombstone, it would just be, what are the odds?
We can't put an office quote for you.
Yeah. You can't just declare bankruptcy, Michael.
How do you feel about the thought that like the souls and spirits of all the dead humans are currently like still existing on this plane, but due to our physical limitations with our body, we just can't like see or acknowledge them?
Boring. I want proof.
Let me choke you out.
All right. Yeah, at least one of them like turn off my monitor or something, or choke me out right now.
If I die before you, I'll make an attempt to like communicate with you, like how Interstellar. I'll push the buttons.
No, I would definitely like knock on your bookshelf. Well, you don't have a bookshelf, do you? Or just.
I do.
Oh, you do.
Yeah. What? You've been inside my apartment. How do you?
Where is it?
To the right of the TV. I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just use that one.
My bookshelf,
pretty much. Yeah. Molly's bookshelf. There's more of her books, but.
I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think that there's like people of the great beyond, looking at you right now? You imagine how fucking crowded that would be. Every human being that's ever lived just like fucking here on this plane, but like in a different dimension. Like really? Like would you really stay on Earth? Like I feel like I would go, like if I have all the time ever and like this is it, I would definitely try to go to fucking like Andromeda or something, try to go somewhere else.
I don't know. Honestly, I want to say something optimistic, like there's something that your brain does to give you something. I just don't feel genuine when I say that.
Can you imagine going to India in the afterlife? How crowded that would be.
Stop. We're gonna send your brother there, and he can enjoy his.
That would be as hell. Yeah, just put like.
I don't know. I'll wait until I'm in like my 40s, and then I go through like my midlife crisis, and that's when I find God, and I start like. I feel assured that when I die, when it's my time, it's okay. It probably won't happen like that, because.
I mean, that's good because like I hear like a lot of like anecdotes of people that are like. I prayed to God this one time, and I literally, like, felt and like heard him like speak to me.
Interesting.
But like I think that's a, I don't know.
Placebo.
I don't
You
even
just think
know if
it's
it's
man-made.
placebo. It's just like maybe it's just something you created in your head, or like I don't know. Maybe it was real. But like good for them. Either way, like at least they're at peace with like, okay, well, like I know, at least I know for a fact this person's watching over me, you know, or this thing.
Yeah. Everything has meaning. I mean, how do you feel about the? I'm sure if I type it in, I can find it, but just trust me. Trust me. People that are religious typically tend to live longer than those who are not. If you just single out that particular trait.
The people who are religious tend to live longer.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I mean, if they're like more at peace, it's like more like they probably have less stressors in general, assuming that they're like, you know, actually a good participant in their community of like being a, you know, being good in that religion, I guess, you know. You're like, you volunteer, you do all this, you feel generally good for the world and better.
Yeah, like you're trying to actually follow some of the better parts that religion teaches instead of just like diddling little boys, because you have the. That's the issue I have with religion. I think.
With taking advantage of like younger individuals, yeah.
Yeah. People who
I've
don't know
literally
better.
heard like anecdotes of that from people who were religious, that happening to their
Yeah.
siblings and shit, and they're still like, you know, let me follow this still.
Maybe religion itself isn't the issue. It's just the people that.
Obviously, yeah, but like God will forgive
Yeah.
them, right? As long as they follow and preach the religion, you know. That's why like
Or
I
you gotta
can't.
get baptized.
Was that?
You can commit, I think, almost any number of sins or grievous sin to any severity, but as long as you get baptized and you make a genuine effort to repent, I mean, eventually, I believe you will be forgiven.
That's why I think is
Which,
interesting, and it's like really hard for me to like I guess
I
like
can
everyone
swear,
should have like an opportunity to like have some sort of like
I
forgiveness.
can,
But like
yeah, it depends. I can square it away with some things.
yeah.
Others, um, no, I just can't. There's a limit. So.
Yeah, like so this guy who like did like abhorrent shit, you know, absolutely like disgusting human behavior on another person. And you know, as long as they believed in religion, you know, they get to heaven. But this one guy who is like genuinely a good person, not like no religion backing his acts, was like genuinely like just like an emotionally like well individual, just like helping people. But they
Mhm.
just happen to not like follow any particular religion. They don't get to heaven. They go to hell. You know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's also. I guess if we're looking for fallacies within religion, just like people who have never heard of their religion or like the concept of religion, or babies, or I don't know. If it really all is how the books describe it and what people believe and shit, I'm gonna be really fascinated by how it all works, and I'm gonna ask as many questions as possible. But
Well, no. When you get to hell, it's like Hasbin Hotel. You know, it's all like twink devils or twink demons.
I'll fit right in.
That's
Be
what
great there. What if your hell is me being a twink devil and I just like torment you?
How would you torment me?
Um, I'll just drink in front of you. Never let you touch drink. I don't
Just
fucking
keep getting
know.
drunk in front of me.
I'm not good at like mental torture games. Physical, like that's easy. You just have to like know how to do it and commit to it. But like mental, I don't know. I think I need work on that.
Maybe you just like you
I'll
just
get better.
cuck someone for all eternity. Like you find their wife or their like forever crush